Everything should be streaming through the proper channel now. But I am gonna have to go and delete that last stream. It wasn't even supposed to be up anyway. I don't know why that shit happened. Get this echo out of there. We're all good here. Yeah, we're all good. We have some gaming news we're gonna be talking about, so hope you guys sit tight. We're gonna definitely talk about that. I want to go over the sales stuff, so I'm gonna be reading off some of the sales for PlayStation. We do have a confirmation that they have surpassed 61 million PS5 sold, so that is pretty damn good. Before Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out next year. And also, over 61 million PS5 sold before the PS5 Pro comes out, before Astrobot comes out, before Call of Duty comes out, which will all enhance the number of consoles sold during the 3-month holiday period. You can call it 4 months if you want. What am I looking for? Ah, there we go, content. Again, let me just delete this last stream. We're good though. We're good on this stream. We're on the right channel. Okay. Let me get this up out of here. Yes, I understand. And we're all good. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a long time. Dealing with a lot. But, yeah. I'm doing good. Always Mad Gaming. What's going on? You're in the chat. Briarios. You're all members. We have Uncompetitive. He's also in the chat. He is also a member. All three of you guys are also mods. Gregory is a mod. And we also have Harlem PS Gamer with a new profile picture. He is also a mod. Today we're not only going to be playing a few games, we're also going to be going over some of this news. So let me see, how do I take this shit off the screen? I think it's this one. Ah, there it is. And I'm gonna just get rid of the background music, since the Elgato looked like it was working today when it came to the Helldivers background music. So we'll see if that is still the case. That seems to still be the case. Okay, so we're just gonna play a little bit for the new mission DLC. I don't really know what all changed except for the art. But like, this is kind of all I know that really changed about Helldivers as it is right now. I heard there's new weapons and obviously new armor coming, new difficulties and other things like that. But it does seem that the planet behind them could be Earth. I do see a lot of lights going on there, so I'm thinking that this planet behind the soldiers are Earth, and we are getting closer to fighting on Earth, which is something I always thought. We failed another mission, which kind of makes sense because we don't have as many players as we used to, but we did get a boost. They got a new UI system giving us more statistics on what's going on, so that's very helpful. Looks like we knocked this whole little section out. That's all. That's gone. It's just these two over here. Let's see. Well, looks like we got a major order over here for bugs. I don't actually like that one. We liberated this planet, and we have to defend this, and we have to defend this. We're doing bad on both of those. Kill 500 Oh, 500 million terminoids on Scorcher 3. Okay, and then we need to liberate what? Esker and liberate Born? Where's Born? Oh, we already liberated that one. Esker. I'm confused. Oh no, we didn't get this one, but we're supposed to. We were supposed to, but we can't get that one. Okay, we failed that one. Okay. Okay. Oh, we're failing bad. Okay. I think I see what's going on here. It looks like most of the players are going after these defend planets, and they're not going after these. I don't believe we have enough time for all of our troops to split between 4 fucking planets, but it does seem like they want to split between 2 that are not the main objective. And again, communication is key, and for some reason these whoever's playing Helldivers right now doesn't understand this. This used to happen all the time on the first Helldivers, where the community just could not figure out what was more important. I feel like the major missions are more important than the optional ones. But also, if we had enough people online, maybe we could split between 3 fucking planets. But again, think about how difficult that is in real life. Like, we have multiple armies on Earth waging wars. How difficult would it be to have multiple armies on multiple planets waging war? You would need a lot of people, so realistically, it kind of makes sense. I'll just be going over here since this is the one that looks like we got the highest chance. This also looks somewhat like a plant. This looks like one of those new planets. Looks like a swampland planet, kind of earthy. Should be fun. Black Myth countdown has started. I did not pick that up. Prince G, what's going on? How you doing, man? And DeMonte Carter, how you doing? Both of you guys are mods. I need to see more from Black Myth. I need more than hype. So I'm just gonna be real. I'm not even gonna like fuck around with you guys on that one. No, we're not. I'm not doing that bullshit where I'm gonna get excited about something. Hopefully I can link up with these guys. But yeah, I'm no longer getting excited about just getting excited. Getting excited to get excited. It's kind of like that shit's beyond me now. So I'm gonna need that dev to like drop a fucking demo our way or what. Like, I'm not I don't feel comfortable pre-ordering a game based off of excitement anymore, because we've gotten burned so many times, and I need to see long periods of gameplay running on PlayStation 5 and not on PC. Okay, I'm trying to join other people's fucking mission, bro. Fuck.
There's no point in pre-ordering anything unless it's physical and you want a limited edition and a statue and that sort of stuff. And you're likely to miss out on it. If everything's digital, you're never going to miss out. They're never going to run out of a copy.
True. But it's always the fear of missing out.
I mean, there's a whole water cooler moment of like, oh, did you play the thing? And, you know, and it's like first day or something. But that hardly ever happens with games. That can happen with movies, but it doesn't really happen with games that much.
Initiating FTL.
Okay, I got into one mission. Okay. And all of them are low. There's a level 0 and there's a level 7. And I'm a level 50, 55, 54, so I'm going to be carrying them. Hopefully I know how to do this shit. Okay, let's see what we got. I'm going to do my normal shit, because why not?
When was the last game that released that you felt that you really needed to get it day one? Otherwise, you'd miss out on the conversation.
I guess Stellar Blade? Maybe? Okay, I gotta look at my catalog.
What about The Last of Us? Something like that.
Yeah, I got that day one. So I wouldn't have massive amounts of fucking new spoilers because we already had spoilers. So it's like,
oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Uncharted or I can't think of anything.
what kind of plan are we dealing with now? This shit's fucking wild. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Man, this grass is tall as shit. Let me get out of here.
Would the recent Spider-Man count? I mean, that was like a fairly short story, and then it like who was in it in terms of cameos and stuff. That would be like surprises, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So that would be like you don't want to leave it a whole month before you get.
Fuck.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man would be the last one.
You got water in this one? I like this planet. I like this planet already. Oh shit. Oh, this you know, this planet is giving me Returnal vibes with that spooky, you know, rainy forest setting. It's got kind of giving me those Returnal vibes.
Yeah.
This grass is very hard to navigate. It's slowing me down.
I've been playing about that Returnal. It's good.
Dude, everybody's leaving the fucking missions. Like, fuck, bro. Let me go see who's this guy right here.
Well, people were criticising. They had quite a good criticism of Conkle, and they said that when people drop out of the match, they don't backfill with new people, and then you end up being a man down, and then someone else goes, oh, I can't play with it like this, and they drop out. So you end up with like hardly any people versus the enemy, and it dwindles and dwindles and dwindles until it's just you, and it's misery. And I thought that has happened to me. That has happened to me once, and they were saying this could ruin the game if they don't fix it. So we'll see.
I'm getting fucking. What's going on with me? I'm getting fucked up. Okay, let me go get.
Reinforcing.
I mean, it's not like Battlefield where the match goes on for so goddamn long. You absolutely have to backfill in case people leave.
Yeah.
I don't think the matches in Concord go on that long for it to be that much of a problem.
Out of stim. Calling in orbital strike.
I mean, this is a lower difficulty mission, but I am still running or going up against the poison ones.
I like the look. That mist over that scrub. Nice.
Reloading.
They keep it varied, don't they? To go
Yeah,
places.
they do.
Feel like somewhere different.
Tunnel breach.
This is kind of like a bait.
Alright, it's alright. Fucked all of them up with that fucking grenade. Yeah. Fuck all that fire.
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if the difficulty's low. This is a new map, so it's a little bit different for me.
So these have these been added in?
This is part of the new map set for the new DLC that they were talking about. This guy does seem to be the guy that was the new player that probably was level 0 in the level 104 that would just join. about 10 minutes ago he left, and now I understand why he left. He was like, "Oh, so it's a level 0. I don't want to have to hold his hand." But at a certain point, you have to, like, you know, like he's a new recruit. You're going to have to help him out to a degree.
Well, people would have helped, you know, you.
Yeah, exactly.
In the first place, you return the favour, don't you?
I'm gonna
You
see
don't have
if
to do it that much.
Tagging map. Northwest. 100 meters.
Interesting. So how does it work to get the DLC? Do you like pay for it, or does it?
this is a free. This is free.
So everyone gets this.
Everybody gets this.
Oh right, so it's the same model as Forza Motorsport 5, where they just kind of update this.
Yeah, they just update the game.
Yeah, excellent.
It's glitching.
That's how it
The
should
enemies
be.
are glitching out. The enemies are glitching out. I don't know what's going on.
I don't mind it having a few microtransactions here and there if you actually, you know, there's fringe benefits to staying in, and you get more reason to play, and the game improves and gets bigger as it goes. You know.
Yeah. Something ain't right here.
What they've got wrong with Destiny?
Did he leave the fucking lobby or something?
What they've got wrong with Destiny is that they made it so that they had these DLCs that you had to pay for, of course, and then they went off and they took them away. And I thought, you can't be doing that. So, like, even though you paid for things, they were no longer accessible in the game. And they were like saying, "Oh, well, the game got too big for it to sit on people's hard drives, so we're making it smaller." And you played that already, haven't you? So you don't need it no more.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "No, I haven't." I'm going
Oh, he left. Yeah, he left the game. Okay. I was like, bro, the game is glitching out.
So people are upset about that with Destiny.
Oh,
they did
Jesus.
that.
He left the fucking game.
Someone made a point recently that Call of Duty Modern Warfare is like enormous, you know, in terms of how many gigabytes it takes up, and they say, like, if it can do that, then why can't you do the same with Destiny and just keep adding on to Destiny, making it bigger and bigger and bigger? And I thought, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't mind if they do that. I mean, what you could do, they did something with the Master Chief Collection, which was quite intelligent, and they made it so you could say what you wanted out of the whole set. So if you didn't want Halo 4, you could uncheck the box, and it would remove it from the install. And I thought that was quite clever. So, you could do something like that. You could say, "I don't need the Vault of Glass," and it would no longer take up footprint on your hard drive. And then you might say, "Actually, I do want it," and then it loads back in, and it would know where to put it, right? And all it has to do is indirect to where the file is, and make it so that it can be relocated in memory wherever it happens to be in the. I mean, it could just be a file tree, a different inode on the disk or something, and then it would be able to get hold of it as a separate set of files and load it wherever it happens to be. It doesn't have to all be in apple pie order, in the order in which it was. You know, it could be in any order it likes, and if things are missing, they're missing. It's only a problem if you're asking for something that is missing and expecting it to be there. But if you don't get the option to go to the Vault of Glass because it's not on the disk, which is easy enough to program that, because you can only access things off a menu that are in the actual things that are on the filing system. It's the same as, like, you know, it's the same as having any desktop computer filing system and then looking in it and trying to access files. And if the file isn't there, it's not there. But if you put in a thumb drive and put the file off the thumb drive into the computer, it is there. So that's what I'm getting at, is that you should, with Destiny, be able to do something like that. And I mean, all they need to do is make it so that you buy licenses, and then they know what licenses you have, and then you know, you're paying for the DLC license to then re-download different parts of the game as needed, and then you can delete them when you've played them, and if you want to replay them, you have to download them again. But they know that you've paid for it already because you've got the license. And that's how it was always the way with their Xbox. That's how they did software on that. Because if you actually like had your Xbox stolen and you bought a new one, you go to Microsoft Store and they know everything you've bought from them, and you can download it all again for nothing. It was practically the only thing Microsoft ever got right. Let's have a look. I've got to say hi to people.
Liberty's enemies march ever
Not been
closer.
paying attention. You're gone quiet. Oh right, okay. It's a problem with riots. Yeah, Ice Spring Gaming's talking about riots. Well, I risked going out today because I had to go out. Had to go see my psychiatrist. And I thought, well, we'll see how this goes off. You know, see if there's Muslims running around the street with machetes. And it was fine. Absolutely perfectly okay. And very racially diverse area I live in. Lots of people, lots of different races, just about everyone imaginable. And quite crowded. And what I noticed was that everyone was on edge, and everyone was avoiding the hell out of everyone. Like they were making sure not to walk into each other. And I could feel it, like kind of vibe. But everything was completely peaceful, but I thought everyone was being careful for it to be like good relations between everyone. It wasn't just me picking up on that. I'm sure everyone was being careful. And there was this black dude that had fallen off his crutches, was asking to be helped up, and I thought, what's his game? And I thought it might be a scam. And then the police were quite quick to turn up.
Apologies. I'm back.
They helped him up.
Okay.
So, I don't know
I'm
what
gonna
that
try to
was.
do one more mission, but I'm not a big fan of the current Helldivers community. Shit, I wasn't a fan of the Helldivers community maybe a month or two ago when we started to dwindle. And when you start to dwindle, then you start to see what the communities are really made out of. And, you know, I can't fight every war by myself. I don't think they have enough room. Oh, they do have enough room. Okay. I can't fight every war by myself, and that's when it really is going to depend on the other people that are playing Helldivers and make sure we can actually strategize. Oh fuck! I forgot to put a fucking perk on. Damn, that's my fault. That sucks. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, they're being riots every day this week in the UK.
I see that. I see it's going crazy over there.
Not where I am, thankfully. But yeah.
I would assume it's in the main part of the city.
It's more up north than where I am. But not massively far away from where I am.
Do not let them fall.
Okay, let's get it done.
To the sky.
Yeah, boy. Get it done. This is what I miss. Nice four-person squad getting shit done.
Mission at 30 minutes remaining.
I think it's actually a bit more complicated than it appears because there are plenty of Muslims.
Oh, you know we can't talk about that, or my whole channel will get nuked.
There's no problems with them of any kind, and I don't think they're from the same country.
Mission map updated.
as the ones that are from up north that are responsible for certain crimes.
What are we looking at?
And can't talk about what they've done, but they've done terrible things.
Yeah.
So
fuck!
the ones around near me, I don't think they're even from the same part of the world. So the number of different types of Muslim there are, there's a lot, right?
How did you get onto this topic out of video games? How did we get to the war?
It was all came up in the chat, you see, because of the riot.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just saying that not all Muslims are the same.
Obviously, there's different micro factions of every religion. There's different micro factions of every type of anything. Even like when it comes to like PlayStation gamers, there's micro factions of us. Like there's the JayTechs that are like veterans that play PlayStation for many generations, and they're not going anywhere. And then there's other people that are like, oh, I'm only over here because of sports games in Call of Duty. You know, like there's other people that are over here because Xbox sucks and there's no value over there. Other people they this might be on PlayStation because their parents brought it. Like there's so many, you see what I'm saying? So many micro factions and so many reasons why people may end up over on PlayStation. And it could be the same thing for Muslims. Like I know there's a lot of Muslims in the DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, but they're not the Muslims you know. They're African Americans that turn to Islam from either being in jail or maybe not even being in jail. Maybe just one of their friends was Muslim and put them onto it and was like, oh, okay, I'll join. So it's like I see that in my area, so I can only assume that there's so many different micro factions and many reasons why somebody would join. But I don't really care about that. Like that's your choice, your life choice, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, well, it's the faith, isn't it? I mean, it's not a race; it's the faith. I mean, I could be Muslim if I felt like it.
Ah, yeah, sure. I really want to get some fucking samples though. Like, samples are so important now. You got so many new. They've allowed you to do new upgrades to your ship that go beyond the 4 upgrades per section. So now there's 5 upgrades per section. They really are doing a great job with this. But I want the community to come back. I would say full time. You know, bring your asses back full time on Helldivers so we can get some shit done. Okay, because for real, man, it's a great game, and I love what they're doing with the thing. Let me go see where the rest of these people are at. I'm gonna need to take my ass over here. But yeah, I love this map. It's really giving me Returnal vibes, and because of that, it will be so awesome if they could do a crossover with one of the PlayStation character IPs. Somebody's glitching. He's running in place. He's probably about to leave or some shit.
Yeah.
Now people when they left, they just left. I see these enemies are glitching too. They're running in place. Connection error. The current network connection has been lost. When this update went live, it went live yesterday. It's not my internet.
Do you know how many players there are at any time? Does it say on the menu at the
yeah, I think it was like 65,000.
Is that high?
That's pretty high compared to where it was for a long time. It was in a very low.
When they do an update, they're likely to bring in more people just to see how it is. So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that they cut down on server space when so many people left, and then so many people are returning, and they may not be ready for that. Which is stupid, because I'm saying that they should have still kept a significant amount of server space just in case. We all prepared, like all the real Helldivers fans, we knew they were going to have major update, like something like this that would bring so many people back. And the fact that they're not ready for that kind of sucks.
Yeah. You increase your server allocation ahead of expected loads. That's what you do, if you know what you're doing. But maybe they don't know what they're doing.
I don't think they know what they're doing.
Galactic war waits for no one.
I'm gonna try to do
Ready,
one.
Helldivers?
I'm gonna give them one more fucking chance before I wrap it up and we start to talk about this other stuff like
We could
sales.
play
and
something
stuff.
else. What else have you got that's like this?
Helldivers? Not much. First Descendant, but I might get banned because
Why?
my main character has like a fucking thong swimsuit on.
Oh,
So you know how that
you
is.
can't reach out for something like an overcoat.
I don't want to. You know, I don't think I should have to. I have to switch. Ice Queen Gaming is in the building. I see you in the chat. What's going on?
Hellpod launch suspended. Allied destroyer has joined squadron.
Come on, man. Let's get this shit done.
Hmm.
Here? What about here?
Oh, I went to see that film. Well, I didn't know. I rented the film, The Fall Guy.
Oh, what do you think about it?
Well, it would have been better. Right? The reason I felt it failed at the cinema was because, what's it? Her name, Jodie, right?
Mm.
They never show Jodie upset when he leaves.
Okay.
If you think about the story, he has this accident, then he leaves, but they kind of skip over all of that part of the story, right? And then they have him being like the valet driver at the restaurant, and then he gets back into doing it because he gets called up saying that Jodie's asked for him when she hasn't asked for him. Well, when he turns up again, she's kind of coming across very frosty and kind of like a bitch. And you're thinking, well, okay, I don't know that I like her character all that much. And it's important that you like your characters in a film, I think. Especially in something that's supposed to have some kind of chemistry. So what would help is if they showed her upset that he just left. Right?
Oh, I know what
From
you're
her
talking
point of
about.
view-
Yeah.
From her point of view, he just leaves.
Mhm.
And the reason he just left is that it takes a whole film practice for him to admit this. He's so inarticulate about his feelings. I suppose you would call it emotionally unintelligent. Is he eventually is able to tell her that it was a kind of personal crisis for him because he always felt like he could take on any stunt, and when he failed at that stunt, he doubted himself, and he didn't feel like he was the right man for himself or for anyone, right? And it was like, okay, now we understand, right? And he said that when I put myself in a position of knowing how to articulate what the problem was, I'd left it too long to tell you.
I understand exactly what you're talking
Remember
about.
that part of the story?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I was like, what is he talking about? But yeah, I do agree. They should have had both. They should have had that part where he like was unconscious or whatever. Then he shows up in the hotel where he's doing this other job. Yeah, they should have had a little bit more room right there to tell more of that story instead
show
of
how she's upset
exactly
about him not being, and they never did. And they by skipping it, she seems a bit like a bitch. And I thought, this is hard to come back from. And of course, they're trying to do kind of comedy sparring of people like, well, they'll get together at the end, sort of thing. But unless they've never set it up in the first place that they like each other, not properly, then it's a bit difficult. So I feel that was they didn't set the foundation right for the film. But other than that, it was all right. I quite liked it. I mean, I used to watch the show with Lee Majors. It's nice seeing him at the end of the film. He's hardly aged, is he?
Yeah, I know.
But honestly, in terms of action, Ryan Gosling is better in The Grey Man, which you can see on streaming. It's done by the Russo brothers who did Endgame.
Well, I know that's good.
Right, so have you seen that film?
No.
The kind of spy film? A bit like Civil War or something, you know? but it's not superheroes. And it's got Ana de Armas in it, and that really works. So that's worth watching if you like action. And then I watched The Mystery of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
How good is that?
I'd not wanted to see it when it was at the cinema because I thought, oh, it's Guy Ritchie, I don't really like Guy Ritchie that much. And I just thought, it's just going to be violent and I don't think I care. And I got pissed off about what Alan Richardson did because he was like, can't even remember what it is now that he did, but he did something terrible, right? That was like offensive to his fan base or something. I can't remember what the details were now. But at the time, it was like, he had just done that, just when they were releasing the movie. And I thought, I'm not going to see it because of that, right? Why should I give him money? So I didn't go at the time, and I watched it on Amazon.
Cooper Concord is dope.
It was part of the Amazon Prime,
Yeah, that's
so I didn't have to pay for it.
I forgot Concord coming out.
And,
I'm completely detached from Concord. Yeah.
It was terrific. It was brilliant. And I was thinking, oh, well, they're saying it's a true story, but it won't be a true story because it can't be like this, right? They're just saying that just to kind of set the scene that it's like historical or everything, and you know. And it only shows the people at the end and the old photographs. It was actually real. It all happened. I mean, they probably sexed it up a whole lot.
Yeah, I
But
believe so.
The thing is that it was based on real people and real secret events that they did. And I just thought, holy crap. So, you know, this is very, very good. But very violent. Kind of one film that, like, boys would want to see. Probably women would find a bit too violent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the Grey Man's not so bad. You know, Ryan Gosling's very good in Barbie. I think that's excellent. For everyone. What else have I watched? I told you that I went to see Longlegs, didn't I?
Oh shit.
And I came out of that film thinking, God, that was really good. Got home, started watching YouTube, and it was like a video came up as the way it uncannily sometimes does, and it was like all about Longlegs. And I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll watch a bit more about this, right? Because I've done it, like, they can't spoil it because I've seen the movie, right? And they only tell me that the guy who was playing the creepy serial killer was Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah, I know.
And I'm
exactly
like,
what
I
you mean.
didn't know that. I didn't pick up on that at all.
Nicolas Cage, when he gets in fucking makeup, like sometimes you don't even know it's him.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was him.
They said they wanted Nicolas Cage back for Ghost Rider as an Easter egg character for Deadpool, but something happened. I don't think.
Oh, really? In Deadpool?
Yeah, he wasn't.
Okay.
I don't think he was available. Okay, we're almost there. We got 90 or 98% done. How much time do we have? 8 minutes. Okay, good.
I've bought 2 tickets. I'm going to see Trap, which is M. Night Shyamalan tomorrow. Well, Friday. And then I'm going to see, this is a real shame, Harold and the Purple Crayon.
I've heard that I don't know what I heard. All I know is that it might not be.
People have said it's no good and it's not made its money and everything.
Yeah.
I don't care because I go by the trailer and it's got the guy who's Shazam, right? And I like him. And it's got Zooey Deschanel and I like her. And it's got someone else.
Fucking mission.
Someone else is in it that I like. And I was just thinking, like, I like all these people.
I think it's a really good movie when it comes to a cast. I saw a clip of it.
I think I'm going to go and see it. So,
yeah. I'll probably see it when it's digital because it does look like a movie that's about to go digital real
I think in
quick.
America, watching films is kind of stupidly expensive.
Yes, it is.
And
I wanted to see Deadpool, and it was really fucking crazy.
You're expected to buy food. Now, if I buy food when I'm at the cinema, it does get more expensive, but it's not too bad. Going to the cinema. Funny enough, I could have been at the cinema tonight. I could have been seeing Spider-Man. I had it on revival, and I thought about it, and I thought, do I want to go and see it again? Yeah. There's something quite nice about it, because you go along to these old films, and you have a whole audience, you know, and they all react, and it all kind of... You don't get that at home, watching it, streaming, just by yourself. Bit miserable.
My gosh.
Allied destroyer has.
I actually like Spider-Man 2 more than Spider-Man.
You talking about Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, Tobey Maguire. And they got that one as well, so I might maybe go and see that again.
Yeah.
But I expect all the effects would be terribly dated now, so...
Possibly, but you know what's funny? When it is like that, it's still, for me, personally, it makes it even that much better.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
How do I do the taunts? I forgot how I do the taunts.
Coordinates locked.
Anyway.
I don't know. Okay, well guys, I'm about to get up off of Helldivers. I just wanted to go to one of the new areas and test everything out. I don't feel like I captured any of the new gameplay for the new area, but I'll be getting back on here to help other people out.
We got to see the swamp area and what that looked like.
Yeah, that looks really, really nice. I like the new artwork for Helldivers. It's very awesome. Like they're hitting on all cylinders with Helldivers. Really, at this point in time, it's up to the interest of the community. I don't think that there's any bad updates for Helldivers or anything. I think it's a pretty good one. I wanted to go take a look at another game that I was looking forward to. Something that could outshine. Oh, I want to watch that one. Something that could outshine Call of Duty, and that would be Delta Force. We talk about Delta Force almost every blue moon on this channel, and it has an alpha currently out only on PC, and people have been playing it a lot. So let's go take a look at some Alpha Force gameplay real quick. It is currently live. It's Delta Force Hawk Ops. The alpha is available right now only on PC. The game is coming to all platforms, but they're testing it out on PC since, you know, the PC fans, they would go for these shooters and stuff. So,
well, yeah, I was very impressed with footage of this, but it's going to be as good as how it looked.
Oh my god, it looks good. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, not this is the thing. Not everybody's PC is up to snuff. And I can already see this person's PC is barely, like, it's fucking fizzling out. But still, as is, it still looks really, really good.
That's not a...
Well, it really reminded me of that Ridley Scott film, Black Hawk Down. Black Hawk Down.
Yeah, I think it's going to have a Black Hawk Down mission. I don't know if this was the one that is going to have it, or was that other shooter. There's a lot of shooters that we had taken a look at. And I do believe they looked at Call of Duty, and they got scared, and a lot of these games got pushed back.
No idea.
Overnight, in the cover of night, and we still don't even know how many of them got pushed back. We just know that they're not talking about them anymore.
Yeah, but I didn't get the
coming out this month, and you know how it is. Once we get to August,
this is a bot.
You need to give a release date, because if your game doesn't come out in September, the game's not coming out. And since Call of Duty is this year is going into October. That means you have to have your information, I would assume, around this part of August, the first half of August. And then maybe it comes out in September. But if you can't get your information out in August and your game comes out in September, then your game's not coming out. You might as well delay it.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's so sad when you have to cut you cut
railing.
a whole
Can you go
12
back if
months
I need?
into fucking
We got shooting
like
here.
7 months. Like
Maybe
that's
it
what
is.
we're doing. We cut a whole 12 months into 7 or 8 months. And then if you can't get your game out in the first 7 or 8 months, it's like, bro, you might as well give the fuck up. And it is fucked up when I mean, we've been doing this for years now. About talking about delays and going into September, but it's so fucking factual. Like, it's like if you don't get your shit out in time, like you gotta meet the holiday rush, and then you gotta be scared to go up against Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed or something. Man, so sad. Feel so sad for them. But this game does look amazing. I mean, you know how I am. Anything but Call of Duty at this point. I'm willing to give any and all games, shooting games, a chance besides Call of Duty. And it's not like I hate Call of Duty or anything. It's just Call of Duty has been casual for so long. It's been overhyped for so long. I've been waiting for someone else to just have their own chance. Frostbite Slash with the first donation of €5. What's going on, bro? Welcome. Such a shame, Sony. You said something about, oh shit. Let me go back to YouTube and go read that super chat. It didn't pop up yet. Oh yeah, I know. Let's talk about that. This dude's PC is barely fucking cutting it right here. This dude's PC is barely fucking cutting that shit. His PC was barely cutting it. Frostbite Slash with a €5 super chat. You said, rest in peace, ready at dawn. Such a shame Sony never picked them up. We never got a sequel to Order 1886. You're 100% right. 100% right.
Cooperate with squad mates.
I'm gonna go turn down the audio for this for the Elgato because I know it's fucking loud. You're 100% right, man. It does really suck that we're never gonna get a sequel to Order 1886, and that's Sony's fault, not mine. I'm just a gamer here. We tell them the right thing to do all the time, like whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's any other viewer or other YouTuber. We try our best to give them the advice that would really help them make more money. If you make a game that people love, it's going to have people buy it. If people buy the game, you're going to make money. So the fact that they don't listen to us means in some way, shape, or form they do not like money. And hey, this is a situation we knew was going to happen for a while now. We know that VR isn't sustainable, even on PC, enough to keep a studio like that up and running when you're not using the studio properly and you've turned them into a VR studio and then your VR department is taking a major hit. This was going to happen. But instead of letting them go free, you close them down. I hope that more companies can get in the habit of just letting these other studios go free, like Toys for Bob situation, instead of just shutting them down, and then nobody gets the benefit of enjoying any of their works of art ever again, which kind of sucks. Man, it sucks, man. That shit hurt, man. I saw that shit today, and as soon as I saw Ready at Dawn, I already knew what it was going to be about. As soon as I saw Ready at Dawn, I knew what it was going to be about. It was definitely going to be them closing, and as soon as I read that shit, it was like, damn, they got closed down. I was like, damn, I knew it. I knew it for a while that they were going to get closed down. Why wait this long? I don't know. Damn, it sucks. It really does suck. Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed and those other yearly titles ruin the release schedule for everyone else. It does. Yeah, it cuts this 12-month year into a 7 or 8 month year if you don't get your game out quick enough, and it's pretty fucked up, bro. That's why Sony's bringing out Concord this month and bringing out Astrobot in September. They're smart. They're like, hey, we're still gonna bring out the biggest games that we do have, but then like the other multiplats, we're just gonna let them do what they do. Sony's going to benefit from Assassin's Creed, and they're going to benefit from Call of Duty. People are going to buy a PlayStation to play those, world-renowned multiplats. It's weird, but it is what's going to happen. So it's no point in sending your games to die going up against those mega hits when they're already going to benefit your console anyway. This looks really good. It's like Call of Duty and Battlefield Bad Company and mixed together in the best possible way. It looks really, really good. And again, by the time, EA sees this game as a threat, it'll be too late for them to announce, Bad Company's coming back, because that'll take 4 to 5 years of development.
Oh, yeah, they can't even catch up with
Exactly.
that.
They won't be able to catch up.
No
and
way.
This is why you need to listen to your fans. Your fans, for multiple years, have been asking for a new battle. Like, for multiple generations now. Probably from PS4 all the way to PS5, people wanted a new Bad Company. And the fact that they continue to ignore us, I don't get it, man.
I didn't know there was all this to it. I thought it was just a straight shooter.
I just deleted Warzone for the 5th time. I looked at that shit. I downloaded it for a friend, and I was like, I don't play this without this person, and it's taking up 196 gigs. It's not going to stay here, and I deleted that shit.
Yeah.
Earlier today, I was like, it's no point. Let me go see this person's 4K footage. Yeah, the Ready at Dawn situation today, that sucked, man. That's sad, man, because everybody knew that was about to happen. Everybody knew that shit was about to happen. This shit looks really, really good. I hope the alpha does good, and I hope they can get like any problem solved, because this could be the new hot fucking shooter.
I see a little bit of screen tearing.
Yeah, it's the alpha and probably the person running it on his PC.
It's probably a bit of an underpowered.
Whoa, look at that. Oh, shit, look at that. Dude taking him out. Fuck. My foot just fell off. I don't know what that means. Shit.
It's a little bit like Frontline's Fuel of War.
A little bit.
Did you ever play that?
No, I saw it
like
though.
this. Big maps, tanks, all sorts of things.
The information pops up as if it's Battlefield, so I know they got a lot of information.
It's really like Battlefield, yeah.
They got a lot of influence from Battlefield. PC is like mobile phones. You'll have a phone that has 720 60 frames, and then you have phones that are 1080p 60 frames, and you might be lucky if your phone gets 4K 30 frames. It's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. And the saddest thing about PC is that no matter how much they want to claim they're superior to consoles, they're really not. And the reason why they're not is because not all PCs are the same. And because not all PCs are the same, that means that most of them are probably running their rigs lower than a PlayStation 5. Every PlayStation 5 is the same specs. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
So,
I wanted to actually mention something about this, actually, which I wrote on Levon Caisson's channel. What happened was, what it was is Digital Foundry made a video I'm not going to go into anything they said on it, but they were talking about the PS5 Pro, and there'd been a leak about the specs, right?
Cool, yeah.
I know you don't like talking about these things, so I won't.
No, we could talk about it because I was going
But the
to
point
dive into
is,
some of this
they
today.
did a whole breakdown of this, and it wasn't all that interesting because like 80% of it was redacted, right? So there's practically nothing to go on. But it was in line with what I've been saying on Twitter, which is it's basically 4 times faster graphics. Okay, in terms of the graphics, it does roughly 4 times what the PS5 does. Now, the key thing that they said that it irritated me was that they were talking about, do you think it's capable of doing path tracing? And they were like, and there was Alex Battaglia there, and they were all kind of like umming and ahhing about it. And then they said, nah, no, there's no way it could do it. No, but they like made out performatively that they were considering it. And I thought, there's no earthly way that a console can do path tracing. Why are you even entertaining that concept? Right? Path tracing is like way, way harder than ray tracing. And we've got ray tracing in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It already happens, right? So what they've done is they know that it's like snapping on the heels of the PC. And so they go off and say, let's go off and like compare it to the next quality bar in visuals beyond ray tracing. When it used to be that consoles couldn't attempt ray tracing. And that was purely the preserve of PC, and it would never be something that consoles would ever do. Then along comes the PS5, and it's doing ray tracing. It's like, fuck, right? So they go off and they move the goalposts, move on to path tracing, which 2% of the PCs in the world can manage, right? And then they go, yay, we've won. We're back to the being part PC master race. When practically everyone who has a PC on Steam can't do path tracing because their GPU isn't up to it. And
This
whole
is
thing,
look, man.
just grooming their egos.
I can't wait until the PS5 Pro turns up to actually exist. You know how I have enough information to know it's real, but for it to actually get announced and exist, that's when all the PC fans are gonna freak out. By that time, it'll be too late.
Well, it's supposed to be 33.5 teraflops, 60 compute units, which isn't double. It's gone from 36, and 36 doubled would be 72, so it's not quite double. And then you've got PSSR, which is a super spectral resolution, which is a anti-aliasing scaling up thing. So it both gets rid of the jaggings, the stair step thing, as it also scales it up, which will boost the resolution. So you could like be rendering something quite low, maybe 1440p or even as low as 1080p, and then say, right, make this massive resolution, and it would come out 1800p or even 4K, and then you'd be like, not be able to tell. You really wouldn't be able to tell that it was not native, and that's how you get your high frame rate. You want to have it at 60 frames a second, and so you have to have a native rendering resolution which is lower and lower, and then you use techniques to scale it up back to looking like it was actually rendered at 4K. And it's like, should it really matter that it's not native 4K? Well, if you can't tell, what's the difference, right? But the people at Digital Foundry will be going after it with, like, special optical, loops, and they'll be looking at the screen and trying to work out what its actual resolution is and reconstruct back to the actual native resolution. That's what they always do. They always take they put it through a frame grabbing thing. They put the footage through a frame grabber, and then they go off and they then have all this digital footage, which they then go over and they try and work out what the actual resolution was from Jaggies. And by measuring how things go through the steps, they can then go off and say, well, this must have been rendered at this resolution and then scaled up. And that's how they do their job, because no one will let onto them what the internal native rendering resolution is. They have to work back to it. And I think they might have harder job with PSSR involved in the render pipeline. Now, the more dubious thing is it going to do frame generation, and is it going to make a big difference? And I'm not sure that that's something that we should be particularly jumping around in excitement over, because there's going to be latency in any pipeline if you try and do frame generation. So if you can have it render at 60 frames a second, you might be able to get it to give you extra frames there. And it might seem to be like 120 frames a second in some simple games. But if it's rendering at 30, I think it's a bit of an ask to get it to then seem like 60. Because what it's doing is the AI is looking at two frames that are really quite different from each other, because it's had that many milliseconds between rendering them, and then it's got to try and guess what to have in between and stick that in there to make what would have been it look like if it was at 60 frames a second, and it can look terrible. So it's almost not worth doing the 30 to 60 interpolation, but it can work paradoxically to do the 60 to 120 interpolation. So that will be something which I think will actually be desirable with PSVR, because that's where you want things to be a higher frame rate, and you're not that bothered about how things actually look render wise as much. You definitely want it to be
So most, in layman's terms, most PCs.
Otherwise, you make yourself feel sick. In VR.
Most PCs won't be able to keep up with the Pro.
So that aspect, it has its uses, but I don't think it's going to. The frame gen thing will be used that much. I mean, I read something that certain PC games, they were doing it from 30 up to 60 in certain games, and I thought, this is news to me. But these were like old games, like retro games. So I think they weren't like first-person shooters or anything like that. So I think it's like where most of the things on the screen are staying where they are, like a platformer, something like that, and you've got those things jumping around on the thing like Mario. I think you can do it with that, but
vehicles look really good on this game.
Anything where you might swing your head around and you might get motion blur, when you do that and it's going from 30 frames a second and you're interpolating there, it might not be improving your experience. So it could be one of those things where they have a boost mode, and then they might have a frame gen mode, and you can turn it on and off. That would be, to me, the sensible thing. Because if it's like trying to do it all the time, and it for certain games, it really
it killed two people with the vehicle. Good shit.
It'd be great to be able to turn it off, because it might not suit the game. But as to the resolution scaling, there should be no problem with resolution scaling at all. But the other thing with the resolution scaling is that
that's
to get it
awesome.
to 8K, it seems a bit overkill, and I don't think.
Bro, he's killing everybody with the vehicles.
8K.
That's so fucking cool.
I don't think we need 8K. So I think we're actually going to be looking at much higher quality rendering, like with more ray tracing and more level illumination, nanite, lumen, that kind of thing. Unreal 5.
Vehicle kills are so satisfying.
And then what's then going to happen? You know that tech demo where that girl is like climbing up some rocks and she goes and there's some statues and there's some beetles running around and then she ends up jumping and then flying off.
The Unreal Engine 5 tech demo. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That was something like 1440p.
And that's perfectly fine. If it's like 1440p 60 is perfect, bro.
Yeah. So I'm not like a complete kind of like must have the resolution. You know, I'm pretty happy. I mean, even if it's 1080p, I'd be happy. But yeah, that's so when they talk about it'll do 8K, I'm like, I don't need 8K. I don't want to buy a new TV, thanks.
Exactly.
Right? So I think in a way they're talking about the capability of it being able to do 8K, which I think on paper it could. And that's not how you would want to use it. As a developer, you would want to make it, you want to have as much of the processor power that it has, which is running at a higher clock speed as well. Not massively, but it is faster than the current clock speed of the PS5, which implies that it's gone through a die shrink. Right? It's probably a smaller nanometer size chip, which means it's reduced the wattage that the chip needs. And that means that the thermals of the system are more manageable, right? Because every time you go through this process of like coming out with basically the same chip again, with a few more features and stuff, they what they do, like when they did the PS5 Slim, they had it on another smaller die, and that allows basically the whole circuit of the circuit diagram of the chip is shrunk, right? So all the distances are smaller, and all the electricity gets to go to where it goes quicker. And then what you can do is you can make it so that you reduce the clock rate, so that you make it so that the chip is going slower, but everything takes, like, it goes faster to wherever it's going, so it ends up the same, right? It ends up the same performance. So you want the PS5 Slim to have the same performance as the PS5. You make the chip smaller, the clock slower, and it ends up being the same but uses less power. And because it's using up less power, it gets less hot. And you can halve the size of the heatsink. That cuts down the weight. That cuts down the transportation costs, which is mind-boggling. But they actually, like, the copper heatsink is really quite heavy. So if you can halve that, you're saving millions on transportation costs for every box, right? On the pallet, right? And the whole thing ends up being a win, right? So even if they
do you think Sony's gonna do that? Because one of the major things Sony fucks up with is hardware.
They've done that with the PS5 Slim, but I don't know what precisely the die size is of the new one. But it might be that it's sticking with the die size of the PS5 Slim and then making it be a bigger chip, and I have gone and expanded up the size of the.
Personally, I would assume that's just me. They would keep the same design, like what they did with the PS5. Remember PS4 Slim, and then the PS4 Pro, and they basically was stacked, like they had like. You know, like McDonald's has the cheeseburger, but then it has a double cheese and it has a triple cheese, and it was kind of like that. I'm just guessing that it would be something like that. But then again, because this Pro is going to be so much more powerful and it's going to be such a premium device, they may give it its own type of design.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because it's just going to be so. I think that. There's going to be a bigger power gap between the PS4 and PS4 Pro versus this PS5 and PS5 Pro. I just think there's a much bigger power gap between the last time they did a Pro.
Definitely. So, if that was double, right? Between PS4 and PS4 Pro, it was double. Because literally, in order to get it to emulate not emulate, but be a PS4, it turned off half of its compute units. That's all it did. Because it just weren't necessary. It would have run too fast. All the games would have been unplayable because they would have been running too fast. So the new one is it effectively. I did my back of the envelope calculations on it, and including the resolution stuff and the boost in the CPU speed and everything else. I think it's roughly 4 times faster graphics wise. So it's double the gap between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. So you're going to notice it. I mean, you wouldn't really benefit from it being a PS6. If it was a PS6, it's like, what could you possibly do with a PS6 that would make it better in any way? Right? I mean, it's too soon for the PS6, really, but
Yeah.
you might as well call it the PS6. That's what I'm saying. Is that much of an improvement?
Let me read this important notice real quick before you continue. The chart, we're going to talk about this chart for the sales.
Yeah,
now, what you guys are looking at is Black Myth Wukong, and the reason why I wanted to put this up there because Uncompetitive was talking about resolutions and stuff, and we do have a confirmation that just your normal PS5 will be running have a mode for this specific game that is 1440p 60, which, as you know, whenever they get that resolution, that means it's going to be a really good game, and it also means that the developer worked very, very close with PlayStation. So, not a lot of games do 1440p 60, but I feel like more games should do 1440p 60, or, like a Horizon, which was 1800p 60, and you see how good that looked. Yeah.
That was amazing.
They said, since 2017, Microsoft's roster of game studios has increased more dramatically than its output of video games. Many complexities here. Games now take longer to make, but I wanted to test a hunch about why Xbox fans might have unmet expectations. The game releases is all the way down. Game releases only. Standalone releases only. Oh, that's bad. Microsoft's own game studios by the end of the year, yeah. It is bad, yeah. They own over 30 studios, and they've released under 15 games, first-party games a year. That's really bad. Do you remember that one? I don't have any of this, any of these, by the way, like all those sound bites, all that shit's gone. But do you remember that one soundbite I had where, the Microsoft executive was like, we don't have a lot of exclusives and Sony has a lot? Well, I don't think it really is that. I think it's that you don't make any exclusives. If you made exclusives, you would have exclusives. But you don't want to make them. You have all this money, but you're not doing anything that you need to do with it, which is make games. The better the game, the more people want to be with where the games are. It's very simple, man. And they're making it complex, but it's really simple. Put out good games and the gamers will come. But we're talking about an 8-year drought of W's. They've had I think it's actually, it's 8, right? I would say 8. Let's just give them 8. I want to say 10, but we could say 10. We could say 10. Yeah, you know what? We're going to say 10 because it's 2024 and it's about to be 2025. So we'll say 10. They have roughly 10 years of a drought of W's. From Xbox One generation to now Xbox Series X and S, where they really hit hard times. They weren't bringing out the best games. They didn't know what the fuck to do, and they've been in this limbo for almost 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
No self-respecting gamer wants to go buy an Xbox knowing that they're having these problems producing high-quality, award-winning games.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. I mean, it's like the teams in the United States. The teams with the most championships, they're going to get promotions. They're going to get anything they want in that city. They want a new stadium, they can get that new stadium as long as they bring in those championships. Because they bring in the championships, they bring in the tourists. They bring in the tourists, they bring in money for everybody. They're valuable.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in a state where my football team sucks. And my football team is about to leave my fucking state to go to another state. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
So
that never happens.
Exactly.
That's never ever happened in the UK.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what we're saying. Like this type of activity with Xbox, they can't blame Sony. You make good games, gamers will want your platform. But for almost 10 years now, you've had a problem producing good games.
Mm-hmm.
This game looks too good to be true. That's my only problem with Black Myth Wukong. I am seeing the gameplay, and I've seen a high amount of gameplay, which is really good. So I do believe it's real, but it does look too good to be true. Now, I do want to know how it's going to run.
It kind of looks on the level of like Devil May Cry, and you're thinking, it's not as good as Devil May Cry, is it? So, you know, that's a skepticism, isn't it? Like, how can it be that good? Because that studio Capcom's got pedigree.
Exactly,
right?
yes.
So that is why you're just thinking, how are they managing it? Now, I had a wild thought while you were talking. And I was thinking, what if we were in an alternate timeline, right? And there was no Xbox. There had never been an Xbox. Microsoft were about software, and they just stuck to making games, and they bought publishers, and they put their games on PC and Nintendo and on Sony, and they did have exclusives like Halo. What then?
No.
I mean, that would be way better, wouldn't it? I mean, they're sort of eventually moving towards that now, because they're going to put some things like.
But they're too stubborn and they're too scared to leave
on Sony. But they should have been like that right from the beginning, and they should have messed around with Game Pass.
Well, they couldn't bully Sony into
their stupid box.
Yeah, but you know they couldn't bully Sony into getting Windows on the PlayStation 1 and 2 so that they could also share the living room. That's why they did what they did. They wanted to control the living room.
Within the hardware, they'd have to program it on the hardware that there is.
Well, Sony was never going to go for that.
No. They can. No, look, how is Sea of Thieves right now running on a Sony? That's because they've got a Sony development kit.
Yeah, but we're talking about PS1 and PS2 generation. After the fallout of Nintendo, Sony was not a very trusting person when it came to working with other people. You know, like other major companies.
Well, did Sega get games and put them on Sony systems?
Yeah, but that took years. That was years after they were done. And that's the thing with Xbox. Xbox is partially done. They're not completely done yet. They're partially done. They need to just completely leave.
Oh, right. So you're saying that it would never have happened because they were like...
they were, at that point in time, they had made an Xbox. They had made the original Xbox and they were selling it. So if they wanted...
No, I'm not saying that they had a competing console. I'm saying if they never had a competing
If they
console,
never did, then yes, this type of stuff could happen.
They'd just be a publisher, and they'd start buying things like EA, and they'd say, well, if you want it, you're going to have to let us put some games on your system. And then you get FIFA and you get NHL and Madden and all of that. And Sony might say, no, we're all right, we've got a PES.
And you're talking about like if this happened from the get-go.
from the get-go, and there'd never been a physical Xbox.
What? Well, the thing is, they would have never had the capital in the gaming industry to buy EA even at that time. EA would have just said, fuck off. Look, have you looked at the interviews from back then where they tried to buy Nintendo before they made their original Xbox and Nintendo told them to fuck off? Like, there's...
But they were trying to buy.
I know this is a what if theory, but realistically,
no. I'm not saying Microsoft buys Nintendo.
No, you're saying EA. EA was hot shit back then, bro. They would have told Microsoft to fuck off, man.
Well, okay.
Like even back then, some of the game devs that are even huge now, they were like EA was hot shit. Activision was hot shit. They had the rights to do what were they doing? They were doing all the Marvel games. They were doing Tony Hawk. They didn't have Crash Bandicoot back then. Call of Duty had not even really popped off until
not really
360 generation. But Activision was like a threat, bro. I could see Microsoft trying to muscle their way in for what they're doing right now, and I just think it wouldn't have worked because we know they did try to do this.
They would have had to originate their own stuff, and then they would have got exclusives that way.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I feel that making the hardware has been the distraction.
Yes, but they were greedy. That's why they didn't. They know Sony wasn't gonna share money with them that they've been getting out of their fucking living room. Like,
see, I heard it.
That's why they made the Xbox, because they were like, this is the only way we can actually start to get money from the living room that Sony's been siphoning without us.
Yeah, they wanted to do their. I mean, eventually they wanted to do their, watching everyone watch adverts thing.
Yeah,
the Xbox One. Well, I mean, I heard it from Jez Corden.
Oh fuck!
That he said the reason everything went wrong was Terry Myerson was the boss of Phil Spencer at the time when Phil Spencer had just taken over from Don Matrick. And there was feedback from the fans, because they do market research, and they were like, we don't like how big the Xbox One is. We think it looks like a VCR. That was like one complaint. And then there was a complaint like, oh, it's not as fast as the PS4. We'd like more power. And then Terry Myerson says, your budget is capped. You don't get to do absolutely everything you like. You haven't got like a blank checkbook. So you've got to pick. Do you have money to have exclusive games of like AAA quality? Because you could do that. Or you can have hardware. But you can't afford to do both. And Phil Spencer picked hardware. So we got the Xbox One S, which did HDR10. Inexplicably, the Xbox One didn't. And then the Xbox One X, which, funnily enough, has more teraflops to it than the Xbox Series S. So it's like, okay, they're regressing now. They're actually going backwards in power-wise. But I thought that was quite interesting. He was such a bad manager for Xbox. He was like, I'm making a gaming console. We've got one. Okay, now let's make two more and no games. That's where it all comes from. Xbox has no games because they didn't have the budget to do these consoles and games. And the right decision would have been to just make do with what you got in the way of the Xbox One and make some games. It's not rocket science. You're a games company.
They fucked
People
up,
have been
man.
screaming about this for like how long? How long has it been? It's been. Has it been 10 years?
I think it's much
2013 to 2024.
That's over 10 years.
It's 11 years.
Yeah.
People say Xbox has no games. Well, they really mean Xbox has no decent games.
But yeah, they don't have decent first-party
significant games for 10 years. It's been 10 years. Why are we even talking about them still? They're like, they've made themselves irrelevant to the conversation.
Man,
Like,
I like the
very
game we're
strange,
looking at. What is this game called? The First Berserker. However, I'm so tired of every game being a Souls type. This is obviously another Souls
no,
type.
it gets a bit wearing. It's
It
like,
is. It's like, oh, Elden Ring made so much money. Let's copy. Let's copy. It's like, bro, like, we see you copying. Can you stop, man? Just make a game on your own fucking merits, man. It is such a good art style right here. The animations are really good, but I do not want another Souls game, bro. I'm tired of it. God, I'm so fucking tired of this shit. Because they're all good. That's the funny thing. All of the Souls types, games they've made that are not from software, they're actually good. They have good graphics. They have good stories. They have good animations. It's just they wanted to go with the gameplay style of Souls, and it kind of it's a turn off.
The nature of the beast is you end up with only about 3 characters on the screen. So, like, obviously the graphics are going to look good when your polygons are going into 3 characters rather than 14, right?
Yeah, unless you
You've got fewer polygons for detail when it's 14 characters on screen than when it's 3. And in Dark Souls, it typically the population of characters on the screen is never more than 3. So that's the whole thing. It's a cheat. I can see right through it.
This looks really good. Voice acting looks good. Everything.
It
seems to have
a bit more because you've got the horse and you're riding around on a horse. But I find that funny because it kind of like you're bouncing around on it everywhere. You're jumping and jumping with it.
Yeah, I know. This game looks really good. Love the art style. It's kind of like a new generation of anime cell shading.
A little bit like Conan, actually. I mean,
yeah. He does remind me of Conan the Barbarian.
What is it? Hyporia? Is that where it's set? You know, Conan?
I believe so. Well, the name of this game is called The First Berserker Kazan. So he seems to be some sort of fucking warrior barbarian by his outfit, and he has a battle axe and a sword in another hand. So I would assume that he's some sort of barbarian.
It's a bit of a generic title, and that's why they had to throw in the Kazan. So it's not.
Yeah, I know.
You know, because it's like so similar to something else that they thought, damn, there might be something else called the First Berserker. So let's just throw in a random word.
Treasure chest.
Oh well.
It looks good.
Well, it looks more likely that there is a PS5 Pro. Put it that way.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That's why I've been quite convinced 6 months ago it didn't exist, and I was saying everywhere.
It's going to be funny because the fans want Microsoft to challenge it, and they don't have enough time, and Microsoft truly doesn't care.
Well, my rationale was that I couldn't see a way, the way that things were going with Xbox, that they'd make another generation. I thought, no way, no how are they going to make another Xbox. If they're not making another Xbox, there is no earthly reason that Sony needs to make another PlayStation for the foreseeable future. They could leave it and leave it and leave it because there's no competition. You've got the better system in the PS5. It has better, texture data throughput in the system, which is what matters. Not teraflops. It's how fast can you retrieve data from the SSD and get it up on the screen. And it does that amazing. I think I calculated it, and it was like 3 times faster at that than the Xbox Series X. That is what makes it.
Oh, Jesus.
3 times.
It's a Yeti.
And so that's not all graphics everywhere, the clock speed and everything.
That's going to be a
It's
difficult
on the
fight.
basis of can you get the data off the SSD and how fast is it and the compression ratio and all of that. And it really comes down to that. And it's just incredible that it's 3 times faster like that.
I mean,
So,
I don't know what my last Souls type was, but my last real Souls game was, I think it was like Demon Soul. No, Elden. It was Elden Ring because I beat Demon Souls before Elden Ring. But
Matthew says Conan is set in New York. That is fucking funny. That is. Conan O'Brien, right?
yeah, and I get it. I get it now.
Yeah, that's funny, that is. That's a good joke. Yeah, I heard about that.
Whoa, look at that.
About an hour ago. Terrorist plot against Taylor Swift. She's cancelled her Eras concert. I don't know whether it's the whole tour of Australia or just the
That's
one concert.
crazy.
Hopefully, it's not the entire concert tour.
They really don't. What they don't like? You know what? We gotta talk about it offline because I'm pretty sure. Do you have any details on it?
What's been happening with Taylor Swift in the UK? Because that's not good.
Oh, I wanna know about that. I wanna know about that. We got roughly got an hour and like 24 minutes until we get up out of here. We gotta get up out of here at 8, but hopefully you can stick around so you can talk to me about the Taylor Swift stuff because I don't really keep up with a lot of news these days. I want to, but I just don't. Let's see.
No, I don't think you want to know, but anyway.
I think I'm like, nice combo.
Yeah, I was convinced that there wouldn't be a PS5 Pro because why would there be a need for Sony to even make one, given that I couldn't see that Xbox was ever going to make another Xbox. So there's no competition.
What's gonna suck about the Pro is it's not gonna be enough to go around.
They're doing it. And it looks like they're doing it. So
no, but
like,
that's the thing. It's not gonna be enough to go around. You see how like they ran out of fucking stock so quick on a normal PS5, bro. I can only hope I can get my hands on one because I want one. I do.
I don't think I do. I mean, I wouldn't mind one, but it's like I don't know that the kind of games I play. It's like I don't see the benefit. Because like I spent most of like the last 2 years playing Modern Warfare from 2019 on a PS5, and it was a PS4 game. So like, what am I doing?
Female.
And then I recently like started playing Returnal on it. I thought, oh, this is what I should have been playing on it. Because it's like I can't do this on a PS4.
This game looks fucking fire, bro.
I'm like, it's grown on you, has it?
Yeah.
'Cause it's a bit more opened out, and it's like, icy and there's snow and stuff like that, which you don't.
Like I said, every Souls type is always better than the Souls game, and the reason why is because, From Software, their engine's so outdated.
It really is outdated. Yeah.
And that's why I love Demon Souls, the remake, more than any of the Souls games that they made because it's so old. Like, they're so old and outdated, bro. From visuals to animations to the gameplay style. It's just, I noticed much more advanced animations in this game than I saw in any of the recent Souls games from Software. And I've been begging for them to upgrade their shit, but when you can get awards, right, and you can sell over 20 million copies with old gameplay and old graphics, then you're gonna keep doing it.
I think you're misunderstanding the appeal because Dark Souls is kind of like Dungeons and Dragons in the way it's a hardcore RPG. With the stats tables and all the potions and stuff and talismans and stuff that you have on your character at the beginning, right? Your encumbrance, you can play it practically naked, right? So the fact that there is that, or you can like be completely armored up, you know, with a shield and play it that way like a sissy. All of that flexibility to it means it's got enormous depth and replay value. So it's kind of like it's the only game you ever need if you're into it. You know, you could play it 1,000 times. It's a desert island game. Whereas this, I've not seen any real evidence of it having much in the way of, an inventory, potions, talismans.
He's gonna have different
player customization.
classes.
This is the guy. This is how he dresses. I shouldn't think you can get him to look different.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I think it's gonna be one character.
In a loincloth.
Yeah. No. Are you looking at the gameplay right now?
Yeah, what I'm saying.
Okay, so like it does look like you're gonna have more different armors, different classes, different weapons. It does look like you're gonna have different hairstyles because like he just had long hair, and then I see some of the ones where he has long hair, but he has a long ass ponytail. So I'm not sure how the class is gonna play a role, but it's definitely a lot of weapons from swords to claymores. To gladiuses, like there's.
They are doing that then. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is it not really that apparent? And I think if they do it, my guess is that they're not doing it anywhere near the amount that they do in Dark Souls.
Oh no, I would assume that this is going to be a much shorter game.
They go overboard with how much of that you can do, and that's why people like it so much. Because there's lots of tabletop games. Because I used to play tabletop games like Dungeons and Dragons, and there's others, they haven't got the same depth, right? Because it's quite a lot of effort to go into putting in all the rules for a tabletop game. I mean, you come to Dungeons and Dragons, and there's like 4 books, actual books of rules. It's just like crazy compared to the other games where there's like a pamphlet. So, that's the kind of the equivalent between the comparison between Dark Souls is more like D&D. I'm not saying it's like D&D because obviously Baldur's Gate is like D&D because it is D&D. But what I'm saying is in terms of like the amount of it, in terms of rules. Behind the game, there's a lot of rules with Dark Souls, and then when you go to other things that are similar, that are kind of knockoffs, they don't seem to go into it that much. That's fine. It's a But Dark Souls is the hardcore one, which has got all that versatility to it. I think people who want that but want it more casual, I'm not really sure about this, but I think people who want a kind of Dungeons and Dragons but casual play Magic the Gathering with the cards, don't they? Which is like super simple.
So that's gonna be good, and because of its cell shade, I believe, and it will be on PlayStation. It should be able to run again 1440p, 60 or higher. I don't think any dev should be targeting 30 frames per second going forward. That's just me personally. Yeah, so
PS5 they shouldn't.
Yeah, if the Pro is gonna upscale anything, it'll be upscaling it to like stay at a stable locked 60 or go beyond that more frequently. Like there was a what was the game that just came out, was on Xbox and PlayStation, and First Descendant, and how damn it, was the VRR? Yeah, it had PlayStation running like at 80 frames where Xbox was stuck below 60. So I would assume that the Pro would have your games running at a more locked frame rate above 60. Like if it's supposed to go to 80 or 90, it'll actually hit that more often or might be locked versus like being locked at 60.
Okay.
But I think you'll have those options. I think there'll be a lot of options for you, the consumer, and I think there should be a lot of options for developers to play around with to enhance what you can do with PlayStation. Again, this is great for us. Whether you're going to get the Pro or your friends are going to get it and you're happy for them being able to play the way they want to play. But when it comes to the Xbox fans, oh my God, you see how they act on any good news we get and bad news they get? They are going to suffer. They are going to fucking hate this.
No, I don't think they will. What
I
they'll
do.
is they'll go out and I'll spend $2,000 on a PC with a 4090.
They won't. Most of them are too stupid to know what they're buying when it comes to PC. You know Doc Dark?
Yeah, he had problems, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
You can actually get. There are places you can go to that will build one for you to your specification, right?
But most Xbox fans are not going to go through that.
And I think I heard that, what is it? NXZT was a company that was quite good. But if you go off and you sort of go to Best Buy and say, I buy Cyberpower or something, or whatever it is, it's going to be a load of rubbish. Oh, I know what it was. It was someone was talking about PCs and they said they're not all the same. And what will happen is if you buy like one that's just, in a Best Buy or something, you might find that you come to upgrade it and everything's like, how can I put this? It's like in a real mess. There's not enough room for the things to be taken out and put elsewhere, and it's things are soldered on rather than changeable, and you had no idea that it was that way, and you didn't know what the parts were, and it's all non-standard stuff, all kind of obscure stuff, and that's in a way why it's almost better to start from scratch with a case with a good power supply, with a good motherboard that can has a few years ahead of it for you to upgrade it beyond what you can currently afford. Because if you don't have a good motherboard, right, that's with enough power supply beyond what you might need for right now, those two things, then what you'll find is that when you say, well, I don't need all of that because I'm only going to be doing this CPU and this GPU, that's the wrong way of thinking about it, because when you will inevitably upgrade the GPU first, you'll find that it hasn't got enough power. And then you try and upgrade the CPU, you'll find the motherboard's the wrong kind of motherboard, right? So you have to change the power supply and the motherboard and the CPU and the GPU. And at that point, you might as well sell on everything and just start over. But you don't get enough for it. But it's secondhand, you see. So that's why you want to have a good motherboard and a good power supply. That's what I've heard. And then you also want to have an anti-static wristband. And you want to have a kind of mat that you do your work on. Otherwise, you'll short things out and stuff. Because a lot of these components are quite expensive. And if you handle them wrong, they're fried. So it's not like Legos. They're trying to make out, oh, it's simple. It's just like plugging with Legos. It's not like Legos. At some point, I would imagine that Lego will make Lego PC.
Okay.
They make Lego everything else, don't they? So at some point, they'll make it so that you got massive Duplo bricks and you can put them together and they'll actually, it's a PC. That would be cool.
1 second. Yeah, keep talking. What's on? I'm gonna be right back.
I think they'll do that at some point. This looks quite cool. Defy the Gods.
Lucci Sky, you say JayTechTV. I think Project Awakening drop later this year.
I like the look of this. It looks
Hit me up. You got me on Twitter. Give me the info. You need to give me screenshots going forward. Like, you can tag me with people, but Destin Liguri blocked all major PlayStation gamers. So that link you sent me, I can't look at it because he blocked me. But please, please, please give me your research so I can go double check, triple check it to see if it's any real chance of Project Awakening dropping this year, because I highly doubt it. We're in the month of August. If anything doesn't get confirmed right now, it can't come out in September. If it doesn't come out in September, it's not coming out in October, because that's the month of Call of Duty, and nothing is releasing after the month of Call of Duty that will be considered a new IP or risky. So I highly doubt Project Awakening is coming out this year. I don't believe Project Awakening is coming out this year. I don't know where you heard that. I don't want to get your hopes up, and I don't want you to be disappointed, so I'm going to tell you the truth. In my personal opinion, there is no chance of Project Awakening happening this year. But we are definitely going to do, yet again, another review of Project Awakening trailer, and we can carbon date that and some more shit. I see that Arcs talked about it 4 days ago. But Project Awakening's carbon date takes us 5 years ago. Let me see. 5 years ago. Roughly 6 years ago, I would say, when we saw the trailer. 5 years ago. Yep. I mean, we saw Project Magnum, which is now known as the First Descendant. We saw that 2 years ago when it actually came out. But we haven't got any significant update on Project Awakening, which would mean it would not be in project form. It would be in full name form. And that would mean that we would actually have a name for the game. And we don't have the official name for the game. We don't have a launch trailer. We don't have another announcement trailer. We don't have any new gameplay trailers. And we don't have any real interviews from the developer. And the developer has not been featured on any of the State of Plays or the PlayStation showcases. So, I mean, it's a lot. It would take a lot to happen in the next, I guess, 2 weeks of this month for them to establish a name for themselves and be able to come out next month in September, which is already starting to get crowded. It's realistically, it don't look like it's gonna happen. I don't know where you heard this shit from or who gave you hope, but I need to smack the shit out of them, because that is a fucking evil thing to do. To give you hope like that. That's not right. That's not right, bro. Nah, that ain't right, bro.
Now, you say PS5 overshadows Xbox in sales. Is that over the course of the last year?
They may have a surprise as far as giving us a release date, but not a surprise as it comes out. You guys have to tone down your hype, or you're going to continue to be disappointed. And I don't want you guys to get disappointed. I don't want you to take L's, and I don't want you to get burned. But if you guys keep going off of hype, you're going to end up with L's, bro. I don't want you guys to be like Xbox fans. Like, you guys have to study this stuff. And it doesn't take that long to study this stuff, because if you know, you know. If it sounds too good to be true, or it looks too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Like, that's all I'm saying, man. Like, I want the game to come out. You think I don't want that shit? I want Deep Down to come out. Shoot, I want Scalebound to come out, but realistically, we know the situation surrounding both of those games. When it comes to this game, we know nothing. I don't give a fuck what the developer's talking about this year. We should have had an update over the last 3 years. It's been 5 years since they showed the trailer, and over the last 3 years, we still didn't have nothing. There's nothing new. When you search Project Awakening, if it's not by a YouTuber that's reposting the same old fucking trailer, right? Then it's nothing new but the 5-year-old trailer that we saw 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Again, we got to carbon date that, which I'm going to go do right now.
Mm-hmm. So what's this about PS5 overshadowing Xbox in sales?
September 18th? Well, I mean, we're coming up on an anniversary of the game. I mean, there's a pattern there. I don't know what to really read into that, but there's something there. So maybe, I don't know, maybe at the Tokyo Game Show. I mean, if something comes out around September, I guess the PlayStation Showcase, maybe they'll go back over there. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of this. I'm gonna go see what I think the Tokyo Game Show. When is the Tokyo Game Show for this year? Are they having one this year? It's September 26th to 29th. So, okay, we're good on that. So maybe you'll have Don't read too much into this, but maybe they can go to the Tokyo Game Show and show something for the month of September. Let's see. We gotta go carbon date some of these. I gotta go carbon date some of this PlayStation showcases. PlayStation Showcase. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Not 2024. Not 2024. Let's go to 2021. See what we got. I don't know. Okay, there we go. The pattern right there. There we go. September 9th, 2021. That's one of the showcases that was in September around the same time, which will be the anniversary of Project Awakening, which is September 10th of 2018. So there's a connection there as far as dates and patterns, but it doesn't really mean anything. The developer has been so quiet about this specific game, it's very scary. Cygames is also working on some other games. Let me go see what they're working on, because I think from the other games that they're working on, Cygames, that we gotta take a look at if we can trust their track record. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so they gave us GRANBLUE Fantasy RELINK, and that was really good. They gave us the GRANBLUE fighting games. They do a lot of cell phone games. So at least they were able to get us GRANBLUE Fantasy. But if you know anything about GRANBLUE Fantasy, GRANBLUE Fantasy took a long time to come out. Like, I carbon date that, I think, 8 years. But let me see. GRANBLUE Fantasy. Announcement. 6 years? Yeah, this video takes us all the way back 6 years. And the game just came out this year. About 5 years. But actually, I remember seeing this trailer before that. And that was like fucking... Yeah, right here, like they said. All the way in 2016 when they announced it. The game finally came out. I think GRANBLUE came out this year. In 2024. It got delayed again. So from 2016 to 2024, that's like, let me see. That's fucking 9 years. That's fucking 9 years. So we waited 9 years for them to give us this. And Project Awakening is currently, I believe Project Awakening is 6 or 5 years from the announcement. That's where it's at right now. That's how old the announcement is. But they didn't even give us any updates like with GRANBLUE. GRANBLUE got gameplay updates every year, sometimes 2 to 3 times a year. And yeah, obviously it would continuously get delayed every year, but until it actually came out. And I hope that it did good financially, because I want to return back to that game because it's such a fucking good game. It's such a fun game to play. But I don't know, man. Some devs are really, they really take a long time. They really, really, really take a long time to get the shit right.
The third special boss has appeared in Astro's Playroom. 3, 2, 1, go and rescue the Gran Turismo bot. You'll need to head to the bot beach level in Springs to reveal them. To make it, you need to run over 4 teal-colored stars hidden on the beach in a particular order. You start with this star under a pier to the right of the beach. Then run to the left of the beach to see this one under the sea. Then run back to the right of the beach towards this palm tree for the next one. And finally, run all the way to the back left of the beach to run over the final one. Once the bot is revealed, you see a hint which looks like a racetrack. Go to the right side of the beach and look under this little gap in the wall. Hit this seashell to reveal a steering wheel. Press the options button by it and navigate the map in the same pattern as the hint showed earlier. This bot is now released and it's already won the race to our hearts.
That's a fucking lot for that, but I'm gonna do it. Just not right now. That's a lot to do for that. I just wanted to go and again see if we get GRANBLUE. You know, like Visions of Mana is good. I really fucks with Visions of Mana. Let me see. But GRANBLUE is a really, 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 really good game. Like, it is a really, really, really good game. I knew it was good. I knew it was a day one from the moment I saw it. But we just waited forever, man. Fucking at least 9 years after learning about it, we waited forever. Like, I was doing podcasts on... Ooh, gotta update. I was doing podcasts on Google Plus. What was it? It was called Google Plus, yeah. Where we doing just voice casts, and I would share my screen. I think one time I shared my screen at the end of the stream, and the game was so advanced it fucked up our connection, and we had to end the stream early. But man, the shit was so fucking good, man. It looked too good to be true, yes, but I mean, it took fucking 9 years, and we got it. And technology caught up to what they wanted to do with their vision with the PS5s. Project Awakening, though, man, like. It's hard to trust that dev to give us a game this year when they haven't given us the same type of communication they gave us with GRANBLUE. We have not gotten a gameplay update. We have not gotten a full name reveal for Project Awakening. There's a lot of pieces missing for me to trust that we can get that. It's a lot. Oh, that's good. That's a lot, man. It would be big, but it needs space. It needs time. Project Awakening, I do not want that game to come out this year. What? To go up against Call of Duty and for it not to get the amount of sales that it needs? Just because we, the fans, know how great it is does not mean the casuals understand how great the game is. It will fall on deaf ears and they will not buy the game. And the game will look like a financial failure in the eyes of Sony, which is the partner of Cygames when it comes to releasing that game, unless they decide to make it multiplat. So yeah, man, you don't want a game to come out just because you're a fan of PlayStation and so we can have games to talk about when it's coming up against Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, which means casual gamers will not buy that game because they're not familiar with it. So it's a financial failure. We don't want a financial failure. We don't want that. Let them push the game back next year or the year after or the year after. But I'd rather have a game that has a good chance of actually reaching the gamers it needs to reach versus putting it in the middle of a crowded holiday season and nobody knows about the game and people skip that shit where they should not be skipping it. Like Horizon Forbidden West. Although everybody knew that the game was coming out, everybody saw all the gameplay, they still fucking skipped it because it was next to another big game. I don't understand what's up with these devs. You have 12 fucking months in a year, and they seem to not want to spread their shit out, and they need to. Yeah, listen, man. If I had my way, I would play it right now. But how selfish would that be? It's no marketing. The last gameplay trailer we saw was like 5-6 years ago. Like, a lot needs to be done for this game to have a chance, and it doesn't just need to have good graphics. You know, you need to market that game. That's gonna take a budget. You know. So, again, Lucci, you know, my inbox is always open to you. You're always spamming my inbox. So I'm willing to go take a look at any information you got for whoever, or, you know, the dev or what they said, so I can read that multiple times and see what that message actually means. They got a surprise this year. Because Cygames, they don't only make Project Awakening. You know, like they make other games, so we'll have to see. Ooh, that's nice. Somebody, it looks like somebody is leaking gameplay for Captain America on, I don't think I'm allowed to show it, so I won't.
1943.
But it does look like Captain America is, pretty much been leaked for Marvel Rivals.
Oh, I see. Right.
Marvel Rivals. I wanted Wolverine to be in there, but he's not in there.
I think it will be, but they'll save it until day of release.
Captain America.
Week of release. You'll see.
Yep,
He'll be in
there
it.
you go.
He'll be in it.
Captain America to have Stark Tech when in game.
Or they'll have
Yeah,
it be
that
like
makes
a
sense.
transaction. You know, like Deadpool and Wolverine.
You gotta have that futuristic shield that comes out of that portal thing on his hand. His I think his son in one of the animated series had that. Yeah, bro, yeah. What was so funny about all of this is that they put Marvel Rivals on PC first, and PC fans are data mining the game as we speak to leak all the surprise characters. So by the time we even get the beta on consoles, they're gonna leak all the motherfucking characters. So it doesn't like it's not even gonna fucking matter. That shit's about to be so fucking crazy. Captain America Brave and the Bold new trailer. Why that shit look like that shit's CGI? I mean, or AI, because it probably is. I'm gonna go check it out though, because I'm fucking hungry. I'm hungry for some Captain America. Let me go mute this real quick. Be right back. Bro, what's going on? Uncompetitive.
Oh, nothing really. I mean,
Oh, okay,
I
that was a new.
wanted to ask you about one of the things in the title to the video. What's happening with PS5 overshadowing Xbox in sales?
Oh yeah, shit, it sold 61 million copies, 61 million consoles, and it looks like Xbox is under 30 million, which means
So this is like in this year of like financial year 23, it sold 20. So that's 20 on top of 40. And then what I noticed was that in the first quarter of financial year 24, it's 2.4 million consoles. So it's down. So it was around Christmas time, it was double that. So do you think that people, I mean, that's all it is? It's just, well, they will have bought them at Christmas when the stock was in, and then when it gets to January, February, March, it's like, well, they've got them. If they're going to get them, they got them at Christmas, right? So they're not going to sell as many in Q1 as they would do in Q4. Q4's, or I mean, I don't quite know why Q3 was so high. Maybe people thought they'd sell out at Christmas, and they got some stock in, and they got them when they became available in numbers in Q3. What do you think that's about? Why do you think it said 8.2? Because it's such a high number compared to the others.
I don't know, but I will put this up on screen. It does look like
Do you
Jubilee.
think it's odd that it's 3.3, 4.9, 8.2, then 4.5, and then 2.4? I just wondered what you thought of that.
Is this for PlayStation?
Yeah, this is the PlayStation hardware sales numbers, not
Per month or per year?
per quarter.
Per quarter?
In the financial year, which doesn't necessarily align with the calendar year.
I'm gonna take a look.
I mean, I think it goes from. I should probably think it probably goes from April to April, doesn't it? The financial year, which means that it will mean that. Would that mean that Q3 was actually Christmas, not Q4?
I see what you're talking about now.
I get it now.
I see what you're
because the
talking
thing
about.
is because it's the financial year is going from, I think, well, in my country, it's April to April, right?
Well, it would make sense that the fourth quarter is that low. If are we looking at the fourth quarter as the one that we just got out of?
Well, the thing is that the fourth quarter isn't Christmas.
It isn't.
You think it is?
I know it's not. But quarter 3 would be Christmas, where it got 8.2. I would assume that would be the holiday season.
The first quarter would be what it comes after April, wouldn't it? Because when you've done your taxes, right, and you submit them, that is the end of the financial year, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what month is that?
I have no idea, because it's different for every business. You know, like Sony's first quarter isn't in the same time as everybody else's
I
first
don't
quarter.
know what it is the financial year in Japan.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that information either.
Well, I could ask Rock. Hold on.
Let me go get my sandwich. Come eat the sandwich, man. Yeah. Well, when he gets his info, he'll be back. But it does look like X-Men or the rest of the X-Men are coming
It starts
to
on April
Fortnite.
1st and ends on March 31st the following year. So it's the same as this year in this country.
So it
So what I
starts in
was
April.
thinking, it starts April 1st and
Uh-huh.
ends March 31st. So every 3 months will count as a quarter. So that would be, what would that be? April, May, June. So that would be Q1. And then July, August, September will be Q2. And then October, November, December will be Q3. So Q3 is a large number because it's Christmas time. And people are buying presents.
Yeah, that made sense. I figured that one.
Okay. So it finally clicks.
Okay.
I'm glad I worked that out because feeling dumb.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's still much, much higher than PlayStation. Than Xbox. And one of the other things I wanted to talk about is some of these sales may be a little bit lower because, they might have switched certain games out in some of these quarters that could have boosted sales. They may have needed to switch them out. Maybe they delayed them because they needed to be delayed and it wasn't enough software to sell the hardware. I do look at that 4.2 during the holiday season in the early part of the year too with the Helldivers hype. And I know that really did good. These are actually really good numbers because aside from Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, that's all above 4.5. Like that's really good. Except for Q1. I think Q1 is the only one that's really, really low. But
I don't understand why it would be 2.4. What's happened for it to tail off like that? Is it Bidenomics? So the longer you have Bidenomics, the less people have got money for these things. And of course, everyone that was going to buy one might have bought one. That's also a possibility. If something's really like selling like hotcakes, they sell the hotcakes, don't they?
Yeah.
And if it's hotcakes, they come back for the hotcakes and eat them again because like people are hungry again. But if they've got a PlayStation, they don't need two unless they're sick humor, and he ends up with what was it, 7?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something ridiculous. He's just started streaming. Just a second, I mentioned his name. That was after I mentioned his name that he started. Just got the notification. That's funny. I expect he's looking at this because he'll be poring over this information because he's got a stock in Sony.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you might be right about the Bidenomics or just the world economy.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be good. Let me go see what they're talking about because I know he's only talking about Cyclops. He never
gone
showed
wrong
Cyclops
recently, hasn't it, with the stock market? I haven't really paid that much attention to it. But I think people are expecting something to perform better than it did, and then it didn't, and they all threw their toys out of the pram.
I'm happy that
That's not really the right reaction to take when things don't meet your projections. It's just like, that's how things are. So don't be so ridiculous about it.
They're gonna add all the X-Men in Fortnite eventually.
People were saying that the stock market was looking like it was crashing this week because of Kamala Harris. I thought, oh, come on.
Are you serious?
It can't be her fault. Just because she's got sort of you know, got the job and everything, and it's like she's taking over from Biden at the next election, that doesn't mean that everything's going down the tubes and you have to start selling everything. I think that's like, I mean, people are like having a kind of apocalyptic reaction and saying, "Oh, I can't make any investments that are long term because we might have communists in the next administration." And it's just like, no, you could vote for the other guy. We're not allowed to mention his name, but there is someone else. There's an option, right? I mean, he might not get shot again by the time there's an opportunity to vote for them.
Well,
right?
I hope nothing happens. That's my
That would
stance.
be
So
good.
if the government is hold on.
Yeah.
If the government's listening to you, I don't want anything to happen to nobody. That's not what I run here
really
on this
don't want it
YouTube
to
channel.
happen to
Just let you
either
know.
one of them. They're both
There's
lovely
been
people.
I just want a fair election. I just I don't want nothing to happen to nobody. But getting back to gaming and away from politics, yeah, PlayStation definitely outsold Xbox, because if Xbox hasn't been able to get to 30 million consoles and PlayStation surpassed 60 million, well, it's sitting at 61 million, that means, yeah, they beat them really, really bad. Grand Theft Auto is going to help a lot. Huh?
How many Xbox?
It's under 30 million.
So in this series generation.
Uh-huh.
Oh, right. I do know how many Xbox Series X's and S's it breaks down as.
I have
Because that would be interesting to know. Because I think they've sold more S's, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a theory, right? This is my conspiracy theory. Nothing to do with politics.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get worried. I have this theory, and it's really bonkers, right? You strapped in, right? My theory, based on absolutely nothing except what I know of Microsoft and how they operate, right? So absolutely zero evidence to support this, is that Microsoft wanted to reclaim the power narrative over PlayStation, right? So they thought, we can't risk Sony coming out with a console that's got more teraflops than ours. So we're going to go for broke, and we're going to go for 12 teraflops because we think that's all we need to do, right? Not thinking, oh, Mark Sony's not going to worry about that too much, and he's going to deliver something which has got 3 times the data throughput on textures than our system and going to run rings around it. They didn't realize that they had to think about the entire system, right? They just want one spec and make that spec look better on paper. Now, they don't make this thing, and they're trying to get it to be 500 to be competitive. But the thing is, it costs 600 to make. Let's say something like that. And so they're making $100 loss on every Xbox Series X. This is my theory. Got nothing to back it up. If that's the case, how many of them can they make before they're really in pain at the loss they're making? So at some point, they must think, okay, this is getting stupid. Okay, we've done enough to try and, beat it on specs. We will need another console. But this console can't be more powerful. It has to be weaker. And we'll have to market this as a more affordable one. And actually, it ends up being slower than the Xbox One X, because the Xbox One X was 6 teraflops and the Xbox Series S is 4, which is nuts. You'd be better off sticking with the Xbox One X than upgrading it to the next generation console. So there they are, and they have this thing, and they make out, oh, it's got all this RAM, and it's like, no, it hasn't, because when you ignore the slow RAM and you just count the fast RAM, it's a pathetic amount of RAM, right? So that's another problem that they don't, stress. But anyway, that is the one they're able to sell more of, And I think they sold that either at cost or it's a slight profit. And so they're clawing back the money through the S that they're losing off the X. And then they don't really make that many X's. So when people try to go to the shops to get an X, they can't get one. And they go, well, I want an Xbox. This is the other one that's available. I'll get that then. And that's why we were getting sales of the S. It's because it was all a scam. Kind of like say, look, here is the deluxe thing, but you can't get it. And then the Xbox community had bragging rights for a good year where they say, look, we've got 12 teraflops, and you've only got 10. And actually it didn't really matter in the end. But that's what it all was. And it was, Microsoft couldn't afford to make the Xbox Series X, and that's why they're so thin on the ground. What do you think?
It seems like Game Pass is still here, but we don't know why.
Do you think that's too far out?
What do you say?
Do you think that theory of mine is too far out?
You're gonna have to repeat the layman's term, because I was.
Well, I was making out that I'm guessing that the Xbox Series X might have cost $600 to manufacture, and so they couldn't really make that many.
Oh no, I heard this theory before. Yeah, you're right. Which is what happened with the Xbox One X. Remember? They didn't make a lot of those, and they discontinued it very early.
That's true, yes.
So, what? I don't are they doing all of this for show? Like, I'm so very confused when you really.
That's like in a nutshell. It's all for show.
So they don't want to be here, but they don't want to. They don't want to.
Ultimately,
I'm not sure if they want to leave or they don't know how to leave. Think about that one.
Have that discussion at some point, but I mean, maybe not today. But I mean, I have worries about it legally for them. Like if I was in their shoes, like how do you extricate yourself from this business? Because people buying Game Pass subscriptions for 36 months. So you can't just terminate it next year and say, right, we're done with Game Pass, because people will all need refunds. And it's not as catastrophic as Stadia, where Google gave me my money back for everything I bought from them, which is bonkers, but it's getting there. You don't want to be Microsoft having to pay people all their money for their subscriptions back, which they haven't used yet, because they're winding it down and people have it all stacked up. I was interested. You see, the thing is they said, in September, we're going to make it so you can't stack it beyond 13 months. And I thought, I wonder why they've done that. Could you use to stack it for 3 years, you see? 36 months. And I thought, hold on a minute. What if they're making it so that they're encouraging people to stack it now, right? Otherwise, they could just say, as of now, you can't stack it. No, they gave you a warning until September. So they want people to stack it between now and September for 36 months. When it gets to being September, that means that in 2005, 2006, basically in January 2028, they could shut down Game Pass because there wouldn't be any long-term stacked up subscriptions. And the 3-month card that you bought from Amazon, thinking, well, that will take me through 2027 Christmas, that'll end, and then you'll try going to the store in like March of 2028, and there just won't be any more cards to buy to extend the Game Pass subscription, and your ability to renew your thing on auto renew will shut down, and that'll be the end of it. No more Game Pass.
That's what I'm thinking.
That would be how they could end.
They're too afraid to leave.
Also,
somebody said, along with them not making enough systems, they also selling everything at a loss too. So they're not making enough systems, but even though they're not making enough systems, they're still selling it at a loss.
So that's basically like maybe 4.5 years. Now that might seem like quite a long time, but it's not really. Not that long for them to wind up the whole business. And you see them making more stock keeping units. You know, another S and another 2 terabyte X with a dandruff all over it. And you're thinking, I wonder what one they're going to end up with, because is it going to be you're going to have to go to one of those boutique Microsoft stores and go in there to buy an Xbox because they're not being sold in quantity on Amazon or anything. And you go in there and all they have is a dandruff one because they've got rid of all the rest, and that one's gone up in price because they're costing as much as they cost, right? So that might be.
I think it's a little too late for them to do third party. I feel like if they had a good chance to do third party a while ago, and
I don't have a problem with them doing third party. No, I think I'm saying they're going to get rid of consoles and they're going to get rid of Game Pass. They have to financially, but they've got all these publishers, so they can go back to being Microsoft and making software. That's what they know how to do. They just won't have the hardware to run it on. There's even scope with King, the acquisition of King, to have Candy Crush on mobile phones. I mean, Jez Corden was talking in a thing today or the other day and is saying, oh, there'll be a handheld. There's not going to be a handheld for Microsoft. You're completely lunatic out of your trees suggesting that on the basis of what they've done. I mean, they had this patent for a Keystone dongle, didn't they? That never came out. They ended up doing an Amazon Fire Stick. Can you not read the room? There's never going to be, if they're not going to do a streaming dongle, they're not going to be doing a whole, handheld, are they? So I feel that they can look at people and say, well, they've all got the technology to run the games. They've got smartphones. So all we have to do is make not even streaming games through xCloud, but just downloadable apps, right? For Android or iPhone or whatever, that would be like Candy Crush. And we own Candy Crush and we make microtransactions off it, and that's, an earner. That's what they do. And they will try and push these things into new markets like China and Africa. And they'll try and get somewhere there. But I don't think it's realistic for them to even say, awesome, we will try and push Game Pass onto those people. Let's sell individual games and do what you do with the Apple iOS store, where games are under 99 cents. People don't want to spend a lot of money. Nintendo made Mario Run on the iOS store, and it was
they did close down Ready at Dawn. Ready at Dawn is closed down. It is confirmed. Yeah. People gonna keep asking the same question, but yes, I just want to let you know, anybody in the chat, Ready at Dawn, it has been closed down by Facebook.
You should have put it in the title, and then everyone would have not.
Yeah, I know. It's still not gonna help. Brian Gaming, Ready at Dawn has been closed down by Facebook. They're dead. They're gone.
Mario Run was $6.
I'll put the link in the chat.
People wouldn't buy it. It was just like, no, it's too expensive. It's a high quality game, but it was just like they were so trained to only buy things that were under $1 that they were just like, oh, I can't afford $6.
Also, Game Informer has been closed down too. Game Informer magazine been closed down.
That's a shame because it's a pretty good magazine.
Yeah, I know. A lot of shit about to go the way of the dodo man, so to speak, which is so fucking sad. I wish I could go to Game Informer to give you the fucking confirmation because I don't want to use IGN. But at this point, Monopoly.
Is it? Who is it that bought it? Is it like there's a whole bunch of acquisitions?
Facebook bought Ready at Dawn. They put them underneath Meta to do VR, and then they closed them down because VR wasn't doing good.
Okay, because I thought there was someone else, not Ready at Dawn. I'm talking about Game Informer.
No,
GameStop.
GameStop owns Game Informer, and they closed them down.
And stuff, and I thought, good.
So GameStop is a gaming store in the United States, and they when you like, I remember back in the day when you would go to GameStop, they would say if you sign up for our subscription, you will get a Game Informer magazine, and that's like how most of us got introduced to Game Informer.
Right.
And now they're like, well, most people don't go to GameStop anymore, so they're losing money, and they're just this is just one of the many things they're going to cut to try to make money. But I guess it was one of the bigger things. They're like, hey, we're going to cut Game Informer. And it's like, man, people love Game Informer. It's so fucking sad. This game is still so good. This is such a good fucking fluid game. The animations is so good. Oh, I can't wait for Project Awakening. Huh?
Fantasy.
This is this is GRANBLUE Fantasy.
Are you playing GRANBLUE Fantasy?
Yes. That
looks lovely.
It is fucking gorgeous. I love the fucking art style. Animations are fucking just amazing. I'm gonna go take a look at Project Awakening again. It looked great back then. It still looks great now. It's just the same dev that took forever to give us GRANBLUE, 9 years. I highly doubt we're gonna get that shit anytime soon. That's just me. Fuck. Let me go Project Awakening. It's like I look at this shit 4 to 5 times a fucking year, wishing that it would actually be real. I mean, it's not that it wasn't real. It's just I'm hoping it fucking comes out. You know. I'm gonna get back to GRANBLUE after Final Fantasy.
You playing it? It's just you watching a video of it, is it?
Yeah, I'm about to watch a video of Project Awakening.
No. I mean, is what you're looking at now? What I'm looking at now is you playing GRANBLUE.
Yeah, that was me playing it.
Yeah, I thought it was because it said play on the screen, right? So, okay.
Rebirth is a phenomenal regardless of the filler.
You want to come out? Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
Huh. Do you think? I mean, I've just given my opinion. Thinking it's going to be difficult, and I want Thrash to give like a video or an opinion about how is it that, assuming that Microsoft are trying to exit hardware and exit Game Pass, then how do they go about doing it?
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean it's tricky because all those people that stacked Game Pass, they can do a class action lawsuit, I would assume. If Xbox tries to go away.
On them. Not if they can't buy any more, and then they let it run until it's all used up.
I know. I see what you're saying, and I'm right there with you. But people have sued for stuff that they couldn't possibly win, and still chose to sue.
From September, it's restricted to a cap of 13 months, isn't it?
I think so.
You can't stack it beyond 13 months. I thought there's a reason why they're doing that. So I think there's a magic number, and it's 2028. So we might be rid of Xbox by.
I'm gonna mute my Elgato when I watch this other content creator's video because I don't know if
is it. The death of Xbox proper, get out of spade, is 2028. And it won't be like the death, but it will be like they will cease to probably even call themselves Xbox. They will call themselves Microsoft Gaming or something like that, because they'll just be a publisher, and they'll make a load more money that way than wasting money on making hardware all the time that no one wants. And it'd be so much better for us developers because they won't have to develop for hardware that people don't want. I mean, just imagine you're a developer now and you have to develop for Switch, and PlayStation, and PC, and Xbox One X, and Xbox Series S. And it's just like painful. It's like, why do I have to develop it for the S as well? And Phil Spencer says you must, because of the parity thing. And it's getting bad where the developers are saying, you know what, I'm going to skip Xbox. It's not worth it. The sales aren't there. So we're not even going to bother. That's actually happening now. So that's Phil's fault for insisting on parity. Because there might be, if there wasn't an Xbox Series S, you might actually see that there would be more developers saying, okay, we'll get, our game on Xbox Series X. Because that would be the only next generation console. But I don't think that could have worked because it was costing Microsoft, possibly they were making a loss of $100 on every console. So it's totally unsustainable. I mean, they did it before in the Xbox One generation in 2013 when they came out with the Xbox and it was $100 more than the PlayStation 4. And they've done it again. The Xbox Series X was $100 more than the PlayStation 5, except they sold it at the same price. But then they didn't really make that many. I think that's what's been going on. It's so devious. If that's the case, I'd be fascinated to learn the truth. I bet you there's something like that going on.
Well, what you just said is, I'm still very confused because I don't understand how a system can still be a competition when no one buys it. It sells less than the competition. It makes less money than the competition. They produce less consoles than the competition. They have less fan base than the competition. Their subscription service is less popular than the competition. It's I said it before. It's there to just annoy the shit out of PlayStation fans and Sony. And I think that's stupid. Back to Lucci Sky.
If you said that they in total sold 20 million Series generation consoles, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty good. But you said 30, didn't you?
I said under 30.
Under 30. But the thing is that even if it was 20, it's kind of like, that's a lot compared to, if it's 60 for the PS5, if they're a third of the PS5, they don't deserve to be a third of the PS5. They deserve to maybe be a fifth of where they are with the PS5, which would be 12 million. Right?
Yeah, something like that.
Right? So I don't see it. I don't see how it is that they're sold maybe double that.
I'm just spitballing it. The only information I have when it comes to Xbox is other people's information, which means
who's told you that it's 30 or roundabout?
No. We're just rounding it out. It has to be under 30, because if it was over 30 or 40, they would have definitely been talking about the number. But
no, I'm guessing that it's like under 15. Right?
You think it's under 15?
Oh, easily. I think it could be 12
million in total.
12 million total combined, yeah.
For both units, I don't think it's.
I think it's tanked.
I don't think
they're making that many X's, so you can barely get them. And I think that
So are you talking about launch? You talking about launch to life? Like, you think in total?
Yeah. The whole
it's only 12 million it sold.
Yeah, in 4 years.
I would love to think so, but
that would be 3 million on average a year.
At the least, 19. At the most, 27.
Okay, well, we'll see how it is when it ends up, you know.
And I mean, that's the thing. We could be waiting until the end of the generation until, again, like NBC got that information.
By the end of the generation, it'll be a bit more than 12.
No, but I'm saying we might have to wait for the end of the generation to get a real fucking number because they do not want to give out their numbers. Do you remember at the end of last gen when that video came out by NBC that I found, and we finally got a real number, and it was like 2018. We finally got a real sales number, bro. Like that shit sucked. So from 2013, well, from 2014 at a certain point to 2018, they stopped giving out sales numbers of how many consoles they sold. So for 4 years, they stopped giving out sales numbers, and I think that was fucked up. And they got away with it. Like if Sony stopped giving out sales numbers right now, people will be all over them.
Okay, the reason I'm saying what I'm saying is based around Halo. Okay, back in the day, 2007, Halo 3 comes out. How many people were playing it? How many copies sold? 14 million. Okay, that's really good. Halo 5 comes out. How many people are buying that? 5.5. What? Yes, 5.5. That's terrible. Where do they all go? That's like a third, right? So, if that can happen between the 360 generation and the Xbox One generation, and then you get the Series generation launched with the Falconeer and Bright Memory Infinite, and Halo's on the box but not available to play, it's then 2 years before you get any AAA games. It's, it's not good, is it? So why should it sell at all better than the Xbox One sold? Right? And arguably, Halo 5 is a better game than Halo Infinite. And I'm saying that as someone who's not a fan of Halo 5. But actually, Halo 5 is better than Halo Infinite. So I would think, obviously what they did is they thought, oh, well, we better make it free. We'll make Halo Infinite free to play the game. So that will mean, we won't have to worry about it having disappointing sales numbers because no one needs to buy it because it's free.
Exactly.
And it's so fucking stupid. But yeah, 343 is just run that franchise into the ground. Terrible.
Well, I'm going to talk to you about that in a little bit because you're 100% right about that. Like Halo 5, and I've talked to you, I've talked to a lot of people that did
I'm not
play
talking
Halo
about
5.
Halo. I'm using it as an example, as a way of gauging the number of consoles sold in each generation, right? Because the game is as a proportion of the sales of the console. Because if you don't know how many consoles are sold, you know at least how many people are buying the games. Yeah? Now, unusual. The only time this hasn't worked is with Zelda. Because Zelda, the new Zelda for the Switch, sold more copies of Zelda than there were Switches.
Yeah, because you had those fucking desperate ass Nintendo fans. They wanted to fucking buy multiple copies.
One that was boxed and one that they played.
Yep.
Right, so that was like, okay, apart from crazy outliers like that, generally speaking, the number of sales of a game is less than the number of consoles in the install base.
Well,
right?
see, Microsoft did this weird thing. It's weird to us, but it does make sense to us, right? And that is put everything on Game Pass so you can never see how many copies a game sells.
Okay, yeah.
For two reasons. Because you would see how bad it sells, and second of all, you can match it up to the console sold like you're trying to do. But now that you release all your games on Game Pass day and date, it's so confusing as to where the accurate amount of console souls are at by how many people would buy the game, because the game is now just being given away. So you will never find out that way.
Well, what I'm suggesting here, without having, real proof, is I'm saying that the suggestion is, however many Xbox 360s there were, it might be the case that there will be a third less sold of the Xbox One. Because going into it, people are buying Halo 5 thinking it's going to be good. They don't know what it'll be like. Because they're going off the basis of the last Halo game, which was Halo 4, which wasn't terrible. Right? Halo 4 wasn't a bad Halo. So it's not it's not a tarnished brand at that point. So is it going to be worse still? There's going to be a downward trend. How can you calculate it from there to the next? And we just don't have. You can't calculate it off player numbers in a free-to-play game. You don't have that metric to be able to then gauge how many consoles have been sold. But if you say what is a step down each generation and say it's on a steady decline, then you say it's a third. It cuts by a third every generation. Then by the time you get to this generation, you say it's cut by a third again. So, I mean, if you say that at some point in the past they were selling at even numbers, the PlayStation and the Xbox, and they were properly in competition with each other, and then you get to now, and you have 60 million PlayStation 5s, and you say, well, how many would that be if it was a third of that? Then it would be 20 or less for it to be a third, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
So, it's something of that order. But I'm more pessimistic than that. I mean, I'd at least say that out of that 20, most of them would be Xbox Series S's.
Yeah, I agree.
Way more to that than you think.
I agree.
Because that's the one I bought. But I bought that because I wanted to try out Starfield. I had no other real way of doing it. And I was quite happy. I thought, a fair amount of money to spend on just to play one game, but I really need to know how bad it is.
Yes, true, Woody. I went live. Sadly, YouTube.
I don't regret the money. I didn't buy Game Pass at all. Didn't give them my card details or anything. It came with the system, and I had it for I had it for 2 months. That was good enough to just play through a bit of stuff.
I wish I could believe that there was only 4 million people that brought an Xbox this gen, but I know that's not true.
I didn't say 4 million. I said
no. Somebody in the chat is trolling.
Oh God, no! It wouldn't be that low.
No, I don't think.
No. That's not realistic.
But I will say that low number
are they saying Series X is 4 million?
I don't know.
That's possible.
Oh, he said Series X is at 4 million units.
It's Series X by itself. If it's 12 million, and then you take away 4, then that leaves you with 8. Right, so 8 million Series S's, 4 million X's. Yeah, that's possible. Could be worse than that. It could be 3 million X's, and then what would it be? 9. Would that be 9? No. What's 12 minus 3? It would be 9. Yeah, it'd be 9 million S's.
Oh, you said Xbox Series X. I see it now.
Yeah. It's probably 9.
I mean, we don't know though. Like, I wanna believe that. I wanna report that, but because we don't have the real confirmation, man, I can't actually say that. Because then if I say it, then other people may think it's actually real, And I don't have the link or confirmation from Microsoft or Xbox or Phil Spencer that that's how many they sold. And that's the saddest thing about this whole situation. They're the only fucking gaming company that is too afraid to share their fucking sales numbers. So they want us to be confused about how bad everything is because they want us to think everything's all right by not telling us everything. But everybody else is supposed to be transparent, but they don't have to be. And that's fucked up. Everybody else, Sony, Nintendo, they're fully transparent every quarter about how many copies of games they sell and how many hardware they sell. But Microsoft never is transparent, bro. Ever since 2014, they've just been so fucking scared.
If they listen in on this and they're not happy, they need to come out and say how many it is. That's all they need to do.
I know that's too good to be true.
Right? I mean, that's simple, isn't it? If they say, no, it's way more than that, then I'll say how much it is then.
No, True Woody, don't listen to him. He's just spitballing. There's no confirmation. There's no confirmation. See, this is why I say I'm not going to give the information that you guys in the chat are giving. Because you'll have someone or multiple people that will come here and say, oh my God, is that true? It's not true. We don't know.
No,
he's just guessing. No one knows what Xbox hardware sales numbers are because they're too afraid to give out the number. And let me just be real clear to everybody here, you too, Uncompetitive. If they give out the number,
Jay, hold on, Jay. Hold on. I'm not saying that I believe him. I was just asking where he got the information from.
Everybody's pulling information out their ass. Let me finish. If they give out the fact that they've sold, let's say, let's spitball anywhere between 15 million and 25 million consoles, while PlayStation is sitting at 61 million consoles plus, game developers will pull out even quicker than they're pulling out right now for the different reasons that they're pulling out. Game developers are pulling out because they have detailed information about how bad Xboxes are selling in different countries and territories. They also are pulling out because Xbox is just a fucking hassle to develop for. And it's just not worth it because their gamers are not buying games. There are so many reasons why developers are pulling out. But I guarantee you this. If Microsoft was ever transparent about how bad their hardware sales are, devs will pull out even quicker. And this is one of the reasons why Microsoft started to be very secretive about their hardware numbers, because they knew this would happen. So that if you want to know why they don't do it, this is why. Like, why would you go on record and say, oh, well, we've only sold 30 million consoles, and my competitor, PlayStation 4, they ended up selling 80 million at the same time. Yeah, everybody would say, okay, let's pack it up. We're done with you, bro. Like, that's just how it would be. You would also have possibly gamers, educated gamers that would see that. They were like, oh, wow, I got to get out of here. They might migrate to PlayStation as well as game developers. So they're very aware that confirming the hardware numbers is a confirmation that you're done for the fucking generation.
Well, there's also how many indie developers will they hemorrhage from Game Pass? Because as it is at the moment, they pay them in advance to put their games on Game Pass, and then they also expect to get some of the money from the sale of the game, because it's in a rental subscription system, but when people buy it, the developer gets some of the money, don't they? Right?
To a degree.
And they're hoping to make money out of that pool. But if they have no clue how many of the install base of the Xbox is, and they think it's bigger than it is, they might assume they'll make more money. So the whole Game Pass thing is a scam.
Hold on. I got to correct you on the Game Pass thing. Individual developers do not make money off Game Pass. They make money off of adding their game to Game Pass. Microsoft pays them money to add it into the service. They do not get revenue from Game Pass because that revenue is going straight to Microsoft.
Well, when it gets sold, when you buy a game,
if they sell, yes, if they do manage and that's if they do manage to sell a game to a gamer on Xbox, yeah, they do get money. But it is so low compared.
I'm not talking about the rental one. I'm talking about the after thing, because the game is going to leave Game Pass and you want to keep it. So you buy it to keep it. They might look at that and thinking, that's how we're going to make our profits. So we will break even on costs by getting our costs bailed out by, big daddy Microsoft, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they go off and then they say, for profits to be made for the next game, to fund the next game, then we're going to need to make some revenue, and that's where they think sales will come in. If they knew how small the actual user base was, how few the install base was, then they might not even bother with the console at all or Game Pass. And then one of the things that's been a problem with it is localization. And that hardly ever gets talked about. Because when you make a game for Xbox, they want you to localize it for like every language. And for a very small developer, that's a big problem. So a lot of work to put in all those different languages.
It is 8 o'clock. I'm going to get out of here, do the timestamps, watch this anime, and rest for the rest of the day.
Interesting.
But it is an interesting thought, and I just really wish they could leave quicker. And one of the key things about leaving quicker would be transparency with the world on how bad your hardware sales are. It would make the choice for the rest of the gamers and devs that much easier to just kick Xbox to the curb.
You're asking what anime?
Of course you are. This because you got when you deal with somebody like myself that's very transparent, you got to make sure you're transparent. That's why I don't like to cover rumors, because people will think that there's something to it, So
we don't know anything about sales.
I know, and it's sales is way different than just like a traditional rumor about a game coming out or some shit like that.
You see, a moment ago, like 5
this
minutes
is the
ago,
name of the anime I'm
you
watching
can work
right now.
out from the sales of the games on the console, surely, right? But then no, you can't if they're in Game Pass. So maybe, like, if EA or, before the acquisition, Activision are selling Call of Duty on Xbox, then they might have some internal idea about how many Xboxes there are, because they know from the sales of people buying Call of Duty, we sold this many copies. Well, there wouldn't be more copies being sold than there are Xboxes, so that must give you a rough idea how many Xboxes there are out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason, doesn't it? And it wasn't in Game Pass until just recently. So
they're very sneaky about
the idea of what the answer is. But
exactly, that's why I said they're very sneaky, because the Game Pass thing wasn't only to hide how bad software sales were dropping year on year. It was also because Xbox fans they don't like buying games. They at that specific time they didn't like buying games, and now Game Pass kind of made the situation way worse. Now they will never buy games.
They don't like buying games, but have they been given good games to buy? You see, if you go right back to the Don Matrix launch, then I think some of those games were all right, and people didn't buy them because they weren't quite the right thing. So what they should have done is they should have delayed Gears of War Judgment and Halo 4 and added that to Forza 5, and they would have had that as the launch triple, and that would have been really good. And they didn't do that. And those games would have people would have bought all three of those. So, and it would have been good for the next year until they got to, they needed probably to keep hold of Bungie, not let it go independent, and say, yes, you can make Destiny and make that an exclusive or a timed exclusive, something like that. So, that would have been keeping them into the next year as having something good. I mean, they had Titanfall, they had all sorts of things. So it wasn't terrible. But what they did is Phil Spencer came in and they said, oh, hey, the lesson to be learned here is people don't like to buy games, which wasn't the case. That wasn't the actual problem. It was that they made games that people didn't want to buy, which is different. When has it ever been the case in the history of gaming that people don't like buying games? If that was the case, there would be no gaming industry at all.
Well, in the defense of Phil Spencer, I understand why he got that, and that was because, and I've talked about this time and time again, the Xbox 360 fan base dissolved after the launch of the PS4, and a lot of those gamers went back home to PlayStation. So it would look like that Xbox gamers don't buy games, because the type of Xbox gamers that were buying games the previous generation, they left.
That's brilliant.
So you saw a deficit in games being sold, like games were being sold on a 360.
So they're left with the dregs. So
exactly. And the first 3 years looked bad because
who buy games.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like such an insight.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people think about that. Like, people don't understand how many PlayStation gamers came right back home.
Yes.
After, like when the PS4 came out.
Oh,
there's so many of them. Yeah.
Good God.
And then, once we got to 2015, once we got to 2015 and 16 with the E3 of 2016, it was just really over. Like, even more people started flooding back over here.
Can I make one final thing while we're on the topic?
Yeah.
The reason why I thought it was 12 and not a higher number like 20 is I think there's been a bit of a migration to PC.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Okay, that's all I want to say.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it could be that low. But however low it is, whether it's that low or it's higher than that, but it's still low, game devs know. And there's a plethora of many issues that devs don't like, whether they have to have this parity with the Xbox Series X and S when they develop games, or the fact that they have to put games on that system. Ungrateful gamers. And this is what I want to talk to you about Game Pass. Game Pass conditioned Xbox gamers to not buy third-party titles as well, not just first-party. Because remember, a lot of the games on Game Pass are third-party. So when they keep seeing these games go into the Game Pass, they're thinking that, well, we have a chance that something else is going to join. I don't need to buy this game right now. And that's where the Xbox community is. It's not just about first party and second party. I mean, not just about first party and second party. It's also about third party and all types of indies. When they see those games announced, they're hoping and praying that they will go to Game Pass. That means they don't have any more plans on buying any type of game going forward. It's sad, man. The name of the anime is, I think her name is Alya. Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian, which is basically self-explanatory. She has a friend that's a guy, and it's a really good anime. I thought it was going to be one of those like real like cornball dating anime, but it's actually pretty good. I watched the first episode. I'm hooked on it. So she'll basically tell her feelings to the guy, but she will say it in Russian, and she doesn't think the guy knows Russian, but he actually knows Russian. But she does not know that he knows Russian.
And he's not letting on.
Yeah. So when she's confessing her real feelings towards the guy, he knows exactly what she's saying. So it's pretty dope. So that's what I'm watching right now. I just found this on Crunchyroll today, and they had 6 episodes. So I already finished the first episode. I'll be going and running through the next 5 episodes. But yeah, I see what you said also before that, where you said person in the chat, I can't read your name right now. Let me see. Furious Legacy Gaming, you said Hellblade 2 didn't even sell over 500,000 copies. Rest in peace, Ninja Theory. And again, why would it? It went straight to Game Pass. It was never going to sell over 5,000 copies. It went straight to Game Pass. Again, you can't expect any game that hits Xbox, no matter if it's Call of Duty, Madden, to outsell the version on PlayStation, because they're waiting around like crocodiles for their prey. They're just waiting for that announcement. Oh, it's going to Game Pass. It's going to Game Pass. Sad, man. But that's the state of the Xbox community. Everybody, I hope you have a great night. Big shout out to Sick Humor. I know he's live. I'm going to see if I can go over there and listen to what he's talking about. But as of right now, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to try to do a little bit of timestamps. We're not going to go crazy with the timestamps because we actually didn't have that many topics. But I'm going to go run through that real quick for the people that came late. And I'm going to watch this anime that's on the screen. I hope that everybody has a great week. Tomorrow is Thursday, and we're supposed to go live with PlayStation Legion news and updates. We kind of covered a good amount of shit right now today. So we're going to figure out what kind of stream I'm going to do tomorrow. But I might not do a stream because I'm thinking about just going to get my hair cut so I can have it done for the weekend. And then I might make up a stream on Friday or something like that. I'm gonna see, because I'm supposed to be working. I'm supposed to work on Friday, Saturday, and Thursday. I'm supposed to be working a lot, but I am about to leave this job and go to another job, and I will be getting home from work a lot earlier. So the 5 o'clock streams are probably gonna be no more. You might see 4 o'clock streams. Shit, you may even see 3-something streams. So just want to give you guys that update. Been working on a lot of stuff behind the scene. Okay, well, everybody have a great night. Again, this is the name of the anime I'm watching. I wanted to keep this up just in case. I recommend it. I think it's a pretty damn good little romantic comedy anime. No sci-fi powers. Again, that's what I'm watching right now. Shangri-La, I'm getting back into watching that. I also am watching Is This a Zombie? That's a pretty damn good action romantic comedy anime. Konosuba, I just finished the 3rd season of that, so I'm just waiting for the 4th season. Let's see what else I got. The Isekai Cheat Magician, I was watching that. The time I got reincarnated as a slime, which I was holding off for that, and then True Woody really recommended it, and it's really, really good. I need to get back and finish that completely. Mashal, Magic and Muscles. That's also something I was watching. I already finished Solo Leveling. I highly recommend that. Yeah, so that's some of the stuff I was watching. And also Banished from the Heroes Party, which is a really, really good anime. And Zom 100. I got to finish the last episode, even though I know it's going to be sad as shit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So, again, big shout out to everybody that came out today. Hit the like button, and if you haven't hit the subscribe button, you know what to do. I will see you guys next time. I'm out. Gotta figure